is the Colonel Rant Alert. Civil defense information will be broadcast at 6:40.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Y2K, how can we prepare?
Stop a few of their machines and radios. Throw them into darkness for a few hours.
We are fighting for our lives. My family must survive.
For 5 years, 1,000 gallons of gas, air filtration, water filtration.
Coming at you from the frozen tundra that is East Central Alberta, Canada. Streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, Odyssey, and Facebook. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. I am Toolman Tim. Today is May the 21st, 2023, and this is episode 311 of Workshop Radio. How the hell is everyone out there tonight? In just a moment, I am going to bring on my long-lost East Coast brother, who will... we're going to have a good episode. I'm not going to spoil it. Anyway, I'm just kidding. We're going to have a great time. We don't have a sweet friggin' clue what we're going to... No, we're going to have a great time. John's going to fill us in on what he's been up to, and we're just going to talk. We haven't talked in a long time, and you guys can ask questions. We'll chat about entrepreneurship, barrels, and everything in between. So with that, let's get some announcements out of the way right quick, guys. Time's coming up. What is today? Sunday. So 7 days from today, I'm going to be in Addy, Washington at the Thrivalist Fair. Tickets are still available. They are, these fake monopoly Canadian dollars, they're taking on par with American. So $30, I believe. It's 50 or 30. I can't remember right at the moment, for the entire weekend for a whole family. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to be speaking. Paul Wheaton's going to be speaking, and a whole bunch of other really interesting people you're going to learn from. So I'd love to meet up with you that Sunday night. So a week from tonight, we'll be sitting around the fire chatting. We're going to have a workshop get together, and I got a special little piece of swag for each and every person who meets up in person, and I'm looking forward to it. So with that, thrivalist.org, thrivalist.org. And number two, the Silver List guys, we are two things. First, if you reached out to me, I'm pretty sure I have everybody on my list, but if you want to make sure, just reach out to me again, because we're getting down to the last couple of pieces of silver available. It's going to be $100 for the 1 ounce and the half ounce. It's going to be sometime in June when we get them. I'll have some, as soon as I get them, I'll show you some pictures, but I'm excited. If you want to get on the list and get some, let me know. And finally, it's Sunday night, so we need to talk about one of our sponsors, and that is Amy Dingman of A Farmer's Kind of Life. This week's episode, hers was on first impressions. There's very few podcasts that as soon as they show up in my feed, I listen to them, but hers is one. Could be because it's short, but no, she just has this way of telling you what you need to hear with a smile on her face and making you feel good, kind of like a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. She's just awesome. So go to afarmerskindoflife.com. Give her some support, guys, because she was nice enough to sponsor and support the workshop. And with that, let's bring on Mr. Bill Burr. How are you, Jon Dowie? Oh, you're muted on your end now.
That's I said, okay. Hey, man, what the fuck's going on, kid? Oh, you called me Bill Burr. I just figured
I did, yeah.
Go full Massachusetts and swear and ruin your monetization instantly.
Oh, that's all right. You know what? Lives are, they're a dime a dozen. They don't make a lot of money anyway, like almost nothing.
Yeah.
But they, and they're about 25% of mine get flagged for something or other. Not like community, I don't know, just ad things, right? So.
Well, their thing now is you have that weird page where you have to select if you swore or not. You have to tell mommy and daddy if you swore.
Yes.
And then they can take away like, I don't know, Christian Mingles advertising or something. I don't know what they take away. They take away some advertising that isn't appropriate for it. But I'm like, it's YouTube and you're an evil, weird company like Google owns, right? This is going to get us banned out. No. and like, what are you running that's not going to be okay if I said shit a couple of times, you know?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So, yeah.
Apparently, as long as you don't say fuck in the first 30 seconds of a live stream, you're okay. So I think we're good now. I think we got past it.
Oh, you had your intro, so we're okay.
I did, yeah. Well, my audio intro is 30 seconds, so that keeps me from cussing before, you know what I mean?
Nice,
it's like,
nice.
Yeah,
oh, that's right. Your little, the thing with the, yeah.
You like that?
The thing with the things. Yeah, I like
the
things.
Yeah, you know, the intro.
Old radio. It sounds like old radio.
Yeah, I love it.
I love old radio. You want to talk about something we didn't talk about talking about?
Yes, let's talk about something we didn't want to
Um,
talk, or we weren't going to talk about.
I'm also really bad at looking at the camera still. Hello, folks.
Don't worry about it.
Hey. So I did you used to listen to old timey radio like Great Gildersleeve and stuff like that?
Well, so yes, but of course, remember I grew up where the cold freezes your face. Although you know about that too.
I know all about it.
But I grew up listening to a guy. His name was Tom Young, Talk of the Town, and he kind of gave me some of his libertarian ideals. He just passed away a couple of years ago.
Interesting.
But his stuff doesn't exist online anymore. He you know how most talk radio guys get fired every so often?
Yes.
Just one of those things. Yeah. So he got fired a couple times, and then there was always a big kerfuffle, and they brought him back. But I think he finally retired in like 2005, and there's just maybe like an hour's worth of his content, and he probably put out 3-hour shows every day for 30 years.
Wow. There's got to be some dude that lives in his mom's. He's like 78. He lives in his mom's basement in Nova Scotia, who like recorded. He's the archivist, and no one knows about it. There's got to be.
Because if I reach out to CFBC today, they'll just. I mean, they've been bought out by 17 different. I think they're all like under the iHeartRadio brand or some shit now.
Gross.
Yeah. But we got a cool email, so I shouldn't say we. Carrie Brown and I, we did a couple episodes on Art Bell and Coast to Coast.
Yes.
Which is, anyway, I only kind of recently got into him, and I didn't, of course, he wasn't much up this way. So this dude sends us this long email with clips. I haven't even gone through it all, but the dude used to, in order to record the audio, had his radio hooked up through a VCR because it was the only way he could get 6 hour or that 4 hours onto audio.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he has all this stuff. So any, millennials out there listening to us are like,
what's a VCR?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the fucking 12 o'clock clock in your grandparents' house.
That's it. Yes, the one that winks all the time, telling you what time it is.
That's such a good way to do it because, like, I mean, it's funny. I was talking today with a friend. We had some friends over earlier, and I attempted a day off. That failed because, as you can see, I'm at my grow room. And not because of you, because I'll get into that. So we were talking about just the vast amounts of shit I've forgotten. And I guarantee you I've done that and forgotten because I used to be I would say I'm like an audiophile, kind of audio nerd. I had but I was also broke as shit. So growing up, so there was no me purchasing really good stereo equipment. Therefore, there was no me really learning really good stereo equipment, right? Because I knew it was just never happening. So while I really like good audio, right, and I know some good equipment, it's like it's almost like there's classes when it comes to audio. You have like that shit rack or like box that had everything in it, that's like the trailer park of audio equipment, and then you have like Pioneer rack system. Ooh, that's like your middle class audio system. I know all about that shit. Then you have your like whatever, Harman Kardon or something. Oh
yeah.
TIAC or like the home, like the guy that buys all the individual amplifier components and pieces that shit together. That lunatic. I'm not that guy. I respect that guy. I just think he's insane because audio can only get so good. Let's live in reality,
It's like the guys that drink wine and they're like, I can really taste those pine cones on the south-facing banks of the European grasslands with a westerly,
I have a word for those people.
Yes.
Well, three words for those people. Full of shit. That's what I call those people.
Audio's the same way. If you can, like you said, you can only go so far with audio. Yeah. And eventually your ear can't hear it. And that's so I'm a geek when it comes to vinyl, but I just like it because I like something that I can hold on to. Yeah. Now if I remember, I watched a thing, the frequencies on vinyl are actually higher than what you can get on a CD, but your ear can't hear them. So it doesn't really matter.
It's 20 to 20, I think. It's 20,000 something on the low range and 20,000. I don't remember the measurements. This is stuff you forget, right? But I kind of remember. And I remember being a kid looking at Crutchfield, I would just read. I would read Crutchfield magazine. It's a friggin' sales magazine and I would read it, and I learned in there that you can only hear it's 20 to 20. I think it's actually 20 on the low end and then 20,000.
I think it's 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. I think.
Hertz? Yeah. So like anything outside of there, like who gives a shit, right? And it was always a lot of that. Oh, it goes from 5 to 75,000. Like who cares? You can't hear it, And now I can't hear any of it anyway. But like in April or May, so like the date just passed. Okay. This is weird. There's a lot of markers in my life that you remember, I was going through some shit at one point, and the day I snapped out of it was the day I bought a record player. And that anniversary was like, it was like a 5 or 4 year anniversary of that day, like a week ago, because of stupid Facebook memories. The only thing Facebook is good for.
Sure.
Memories. But, oh, wow.
Do you know Desert Ranger?
I don't, maybe. I mean, I don't know him. Is that his legal name?
Yes, it is. And his parents only live 3 miles away, right next to Pennywise. I mean, in Derry. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I live in the sewer.
Right. Oh, the underground. Okay.
I kicked Pennywise the fuck out. Yeah. He got nothing on me. It's
about time somebody did something.
I started that gangsta shit. No. So, I wonder where they are. That's interesting. I'm on Big Island Pond. I know he probably knows right where I am, apparently. So
you live in a houseboat?
I'm not good at what's it, like whatever security.
OPSEC. I know. Everybody says that to me all the time. They're like,
my website is my cell number and my address. I mean, get out of here. It's
I was on your website earlier to make sure that I kept you promoted, and I'm like, fuck, he's got everything on here. I can see all the restaurants that you supply. Yep. I'm like, man, if I wanted to hit him, I'd know how to do it. So.
Oh yeah, and I had like so my brother is a communist, and I still love him. And he's actually a communist.
No,
and
okay.
Yeah, and he has insane friends, right? And I had to block him on Facebook because I love my brother. We get along wonderfully, right? However, I had to not block him, but like, when you shut down shit and you don't see it on your news feed anymore.
You mute him for 30 days or whatever.
No, I'd permanent. There's a way to do it forever. Yeah. So I did that to him because I couldn't deal with his goddamn lunatic friends.
Right.
And, but one of them was like, I'm going to come to your house. And I'm just like, bitch, I live in New Hampshire. Like we're armed to the fucking teeth. Bring it. Like, good luck. If you can get past the dog, good luck. Like, let's do this. It was just so weird. And it's just like, I got to get off. That was back when, I don't know, a lot of people probably do this. This is a good life tip. Don't wake up and go on Facebook because it'll ruin your day. And
don't go on it before you go to bed.
Or just don't go on it. But I use it to sell shit. So I'm on there, obviously. But I don't know. We got way sidetracked. Audio.
Oh, whatever. You were going to talk about radio. We never even get into radio.
The minute you brought up the audio, I pictured RCA cables running from my Pioneer receiver through the tape deck input to my VCR. It would totally work. It's a fantastic idea. I love it.
Were you ever? So that's me. So I was broke as a joke for a ton of years. So I always had bags and bags of cables, and I could scab together anything. My son, he's 25. He calls me to come over and deal with his audio issues. I'm like, dude, you should fucking know this stuff, but he doesn't, and that's fair. But it's because we grew up with everything analog. Yeah. I always tell the story. The first year mom and dad got me a VCR for Christmas. What did I do? I went and rented some movies. I borrowed their VCR from the living room, hooked up 2 of them, and I dubbed all my rentals at home.
Yep. That's how I watched. Should we go back to old time radio?
Yes, we should.
Before we get too far down this rabbit hole, but we're going to come back to movies, folks. Don't worry. So I used to listen. So I worked in an oldies restaurant I was 15. It was okay. 94, I want to say. So I was the paper boy. I was the weekly free paper boy, and it was this big festival in my hometown, Oswego, New York. Don't go there. It's a terrible place. Called Harbor Fest, which is actually a lot of fun. And at the time, my hometown had the most bars per capita in the world, right? It was insane. It's a very small town. It's about the size of the town I live in now in Derry. And they had like 160 bars. It was nuts. Anyway, so they had this massive birthday thing, right? Every year. And I was the paper boy, and the dishwasher at this restaurant I delivered to had quit. And I walked in and they're like, you want a job? And in Oswego, New York, if someone says you want a job, the answer is fucking absolutely always, yes, 100%. Can I start right? Can I start 25 minutes ago?
Sure.
Because there are no jobs. So I was like, can I finish my paper route and come right back? And they're like, sure. So I went and I had 2 hours left. I went and blew this thing out in 30 minutes, made it in, had a job. It was great. But that chef that I almost lost my train of thought. That chef that I worked for, older gentleman, had the life, had this massive long life with stories. It was really cool. He listened to PBS all the time because he's
Sure.
he's a communist in the colloquial sense. So not really. He's just a regular old school Democrat, right? And he loved PBS. He would listen to so at night where I'm from, there was a PBS station out of Oswego, I believe, or right near it, maybe Syracuse.
Okay.
And they did old time radio back in the day, right? So at 8:00 at night, the dinner rush had died down and I was doing whatever. And I eventually was a saute cook there and everything. So wherever I was in the kitchen, about 8:00 at night when it was slowing down, old time radio would come on and it would be the Great Gildersleeve and it would be Jack and Benny or Benny.
Yeah. Whatever. I knew what you mean.
Yeah. And all that. And they're all spin-offs of each other, which is wild because the Great Gildersleeve is a spin-off of something. I can't remember. That was my favorite one. That's why I remember it. They'd have the one. See, I like the comedy ones. I never really got into this. They'd have the sci-fi ones though, the War of the Worlds type stuff.
Yep.
It was wicked cool. So I actually went on eBay maybe and bought a whole shitload of CDs that they were packed full of those shows. George and Gracie maybe is one. George Allen or George Burns and Gracie Allen or something, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, it was wild. Anyway, it was really cool. I loved it. And I'm only 44. I'm not 144. So that's, saying something.
There's something about talk radio. Our generation anyway, because this is funny. So I talked to my dad. I really suck because I hadn't talked to him in a month. And he had a medical thing that he had to get looked at, and turned out it was perfectly fine. And he's like, oh yeah, I forgot to call you. Tests come back a month ago. Everything's perfect. I'm like, okay, cool. That's on me anyway. But so we got talking about radio because I rebranded this to Workshop Radio. And I said, for me, I'd always go to my best friend Danny's house. His dad, Dick, always had a transistor radio hanging out in the workshop.
Yeah.
And it would be baseball or talk radio. My grandfather and my uncle, they had an alternator generator shop next door. And the thing I can still smell the grease. You'd walk in there and it's, that. So the only time I ever seen him with clean hands was at his funeral, that type of thing. Right. But they always had CFBC with Talk of the Town playing or CBC, something like that. Dad he'd switch back and forth between talk radio and hits of the 70s cassette tapes. And so there was always, that was our Spotify, was AM radio. And I love it. I don't know. And I think right now nostalgia sells and everybody loves. What's your opinion on nostalgia, John? I have all kinds of opinions on it, but is it a dangerous drug? Is it a good thing? Why do we love it so much?
I like it a lot. I don't know, maybe.
No, I know.
It's dangerous. I think it's a great thing. I like it. I think it helps. I don't know. It's like a comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
And I think people cling to it. We just went through the thing,
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Everybody just went through the thing. Yeah. And for a bit we were freaked out. Most of us probably. And the nostalgia thing was a good thing to cling to. I think we did a lot of 80s movies during that,
Yeah.
And that's all. Now there's two reasons for 80s movies. Three reasons. Not specifically 80s movies, but one reason for older movies is because new movies are shit.
Right.
Okay. Number two is because it's nostalgia and it's it sparks whatever that is. And number three, it's because 80s movies also are shit. Just shit in a different way. They're cheese. It's awful.
They're what we cut our teeth
so
on.
bad it's great.
Right.
And most of them, not the classics, like Stripes, one of the greatest movies of all time. That movie's great. But we watched Zapped or something Zapped or Zapped 2 maybe.
Okay.
And don't ask me to. It's basically Weird Science, but not, But a Weird Science. There's a shitty 80s movie that's great because it sucks. You know what I mean? So there's all those ski school ones and like whatever, where they're at like a camp, any camp. Like they're we're going to a camp, insert snow or sun here, doesn't matter, right? And there'll be a weird Porky scene where there's topless chicks in the bathroom, or skiing or playing tennis or something, because they have to sell tickets to the movie.
Right.
And that was the only way to get dudes to go to these shitty movies in the 80s, was because there's going to be, So, and it was just excellent. Like those movies, the worse they are, the better they are, right? And then there's that sweet spot of movies, probably late 90s.
1994.
Up through, Step Brothers, whatever that was.
Yeah, that's twice.
Excellent.
Friday night, Step Brothers come up with Becky and I, and now it comes up between you and I. That was a frigging
always. I had a Volkswagen Jetta with a hacked, video screen radio. Not long ago. And obviously, because Step Brothers. And I had the DVD of Step Brothers in there, and I never took it out. It would just play whenever I got in the car. It was excellent. And that was a TDI, and I returned it with the DVD in the thing.
So somebody else got it instead.
Oh no, it was like the recall, the Dieselgate. Ooh.
Oh yeah, man, 90s. There were so many good movies. My all-time favorite's Pulp Fiction. I love those. In that I forget where I read this. I think they said whatever you watched and whatever you listened to when you were 14 is what there's something weird going on in your brain chemistry at that point. And that's kind of where nostalgia comes from. But it's what you're cutting your teeth on. It's what you're developing on. And it's the stuff you always look back on with the fondest. And
my nostalgia movie is Pump Up the Volume.
Oh my God. That, when was that 1990? 91, something like that?
It's older than 94, but 94 is, I was 15. And that's the age of go to school, early high school, right? Hate everything there. Come home, lock yourself in your fucking room, pretend to do homework, maybe get it done, maybe not. Get on the phone, with a cord.
Oh, yeah.
The spiral cord. Pull out your notebook full of friggin' phone numbers. Find your dial Matt's number. And pump up the volume on and wait for the Eat Me, Beat Me lady to take her shirt off. Once again, that's how they sold tickets, right? But that was actually a good movie.
Did you see they redid White Men Can't Jump?
I did not, and I'm not surprised because they just redo everything because they have no original thoughts.
None. Zero. Less than zero.
I hate everything about. That's why everything sucks now. There's two reasons. One, they have to pack the writer's room full of whatever they can't just hire the best people for the job. It's like the federal government. We have to just affirmative action hire everybody.
Diversity hires.
It's the worst thing ever. And then look at that 90s show on Netflix, right? That 70s show was one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. And then they make that 90s show. They have Red and Kitty Foreman, the original actors, playing their original roles. Everybody else sucks. And I
haven't watched it. That's why I was so sad to watch it. It's not worth it.
Yeah. It's the worst thing ever. Dixon Way's got it there with Deep Inside the Smoke, or what is it? This is Shep Shepherd coming at you deep inside the smoke at Hubert Humphrey High. At the end in his fucking fog. And I just love that his name was Shep Shepherd, because then wasn't there? Oh, Shepard Smith was on Fox later. And every time he came on, I'm like, it's Shep Shepherd.
Shep Shepherd. Did you see? So are you? Kind of go around the boat. Did you watch F is for Family? Bill Burr's.
It's one of the greatest.
It is
adult.
So what about King of the Hill? Are you a King of the Hill fan?
So King of the Hill's funny. I watched it in the beginning. I don't remember much of it. It got annoying to me, and I stopped watching it. It was probably a me thing though. Like, it's one of those ones I keep going, I got to go back and watch. I don't know where it streams. I got to go back and watch it. Because I think I would like it now.
So same with me. If you in the 90s, if you asked me to pick my favorite animated show, it would have been The Simpsons. It would have been South Park. It would have been Beavis and Butthead. King of the Hill would have been dead last, because I don't think it was for kids or even teens. I think it was more geared toward adults.
Yeah, I think so. Because most of the jokes are like Boomhauer and them are sitting around drinking beers, and it's not relatable when you're 15.
No,
it seems the slapstick part of that is funny, but it's over your head.
because you don't appreciate it. You don't like So I've been rewatching it with my daughters, and I have to explain everything to them. They're like, what's Cotton, the grandfather? Charlotte's like, why is he such a shitty dad? And I'm like, that's just how they were in the 90s and the 70s. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, there was a lot of people like that, and
and that's F is for family.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that might as well be a documentary.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Threw you through the fucking wall.
Yeah. It's so good, though. And it's like, I know people that can't watch it because they had those parents that were a little too far,
Yes.
And some people just are like, I can't watch that show. I had a moment watching. Have you ever watched? Oh, fuck, is it called? With Louis C.K.'s. Louis C.K. made a show. It's about him and Steve Buscemi own a bar together because their dad died. It's so good. It's probably called Louis or something. No, it's not. That was his other show, right? Someone will say it maybe, but it was so good. And there's a scene where
Horace and Pete.
What's that again?
Horace and Pete.
Yep, Horace and Pete. That's the name of the bar too. Horace and Pete.
Okay.
Everyone's in it. First of all, cameo wise, outstanding too. I mean, so Louis C.K.'s he's a New York comic, I think, but he's originally from Boston, but moved maybe or something. But they're all very tied in to the Boston comedy scene, which is the best comedy scene in the history of comedy, frankly, from the 80s and 90s. So like Stephen Wright's in it. Like he's a bar guest. Like a lot of these guys are bar, and some of the guys that aren't, what the hell's his name? Oh God, he's a New York comic and he's a Republican and he's older looking. I don't know, but I think Colin Quinn might be in it too. But anyway, there's a lot of these guys in it and it's so good. But there's one scene where, so like I grew up with a brother and a sister and my dad, and they would fight. I mean, F is for family fight, right?
Right.
And I was 10 years younger than my brother and 13 years younger than my sister, right? And they had a much different childhood than me. So they would go at it, right? And it was, frankly, it was traumatic. So, I'm 5 or something.
Oh.
There's a scene in that movie, right, where brother and sister are up in the apartment and they're fighting.
Okay.
And it fucked me up.
Really?
Tears. Like it fucked me up. It was exactly that feeling, which it's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? It just was like, oh my God, and I was watching it alone and holy shit. But man, if like a show like that can move you like that, you're not going to get that from that 90s show. That flaming pile of shit won't evoke. The only emotion that will evoke from me is pure fucking rage for the annoyance of writers' rooms. I'm glad they're all on strike because they all suck. They should just all be fired. It's worst.
It's just so bland.
Yeah.
You ever, okay. You go and eat Chinese food, fills you up. 10 minutes later, you're fucking hungry, right? That's what modern movies feel like to me. A lot of them anyway. It's like there's the odd one that I still enjoy. And, comedy. We're talking about comedy there. It's got to be a tough. So I'm trying to think of who I watched the other night. There was a lady, she was a comedian. She was being interviewed and she made a joke about how she wanted, the whole Bud Light controversy and whatever. And she was saying how, why that Dylan Mulvaney didn't get himself boobs or something. And her joke was, if I was going to get a change, I'd have a member about 12 inches long. She's being hilarious, right?
Yeah.
And somebody jumped up and got super offended, called her transphobe and ran out the door. And I'm like, the worst you used to have to deal with was a drunk heckler. Yeah. And now it's, the person, when they left, they pushed all of her merchandise on the floor. Like she said she was kind of scared to leave afterwards.
Yeah. Because those people are fucking not stable. And that's
right. No, they're not.
Yeah. I know I come off as unstable.
Sure.
But I'm peaceful generally.
Yes.
Towards other people. There's one word for it now, for all this now. It's the writing and the whatever, safe.
Sure. Yes.
Everything they do has got to be safe.
Lukewarm.
And I mean like safe to keep their jobs and safe for the pussies that consume it and safe, just in general, just safe. And it's like nothing about safe is ever funny or entertaining.
No, it can't be by its nature. Go ahead.
What's safe? A fucking smoke detector? Sit in your house and watch a smoke detector all day. See how entertained you are. It's the worst thing ever. So I don't know. It's probably a shitty analogy, but
no, but so
I'm
the
not
best
an analogy machine.
the best jokes in the world, the best joke are the ones that surprise you. The ones that, because that the shock part of it, so whether it's a shock in content or a shock in holy shit, I didn't see that coming, Norm Macdonald, I mean, he's my favorite, all-time favorite. It's probably because he's Canadian, but he would fucking ramble on for 23 minutes and get to the end, and you're like, only he could make that hilarious, because you've never seen it coming.
So you've seen Dirty Work then?
Oh yes, many years ago.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was the point of all this. Movies, we're talking
comedy,
about
safe
comedy. I just bought tickets to see last night when I was half buzzed at a
we were
cover band show. I should not have went. I needed to get a shitload of work. That's why I'm here tonight. Other than this, I needed to get like 6 hours of planting done last night. I did like 45 minutes of planting, and I was like, it's a whole thing. I have no balance in my life right now, like work, whatever balance. It's just work, and I was rebelling against myself. I was like, I'm gonna go, and I went, and then I was gonna just go and have a few beers and leave a little early and come back and work. Instead, I started talking to some dude about Led Zeppelin cover bands and other stuff, and I ended up drinking like 9 beers or something. And then I tried to work after that, and I was just a fucking nightmare. So couldn't do it. Basically, slept on the couch here for a little while. So what was I getting? I bought tickets. I was in intermission. I was on the Facebook, which is the one thing it's good for.
Yes.
Is it'll alert you of shit that's happening, right? So there's a comedy show up here. It's going to be Jim Norton, who's, if you want shocking, Jim Norton. Bert Kreischer. It's his tour, right? Okay. I haven't really watched any of his stuff. I know of him, and it's Big J Okerson's going to be at it. It's going to be really good. I spent way too much money on tickets because I had a half a buzz, and but it's in a theater. It's an amphitheater, outdoor amphitheater.
Oh,
I've never seen a comedy show in a big venue. I'm not usually a fan of big venue, So I overspent on tickets so I could be in the 13th row. So it is.
Did you pick 13 because that's a lucky number, or just because it's close?
Best available.
Yeah,
it was the closest. Yeah. I don't know.
We just bought tickets to Bill Burr. And again, because I was on Facebook and there was the ad, hey, Bill Burr's coming to fucking Edmonton. I'm like,
yeah.
And what I think we might have talked about this, but we haven't on air.
I can't get tickets here.
Right.
For Bill Burr because he's from Boston.
Sells out that fast.
Yeah. And it's big venues in Massachusetts for big events. It's just like, okay, let me just sell my kid. And then maybe I can afford a ticket in the fucking bathroom, So like, it's not, I don't even bother. It's not worth it. Your best bet around here at that is StubHub 25 minutes before the doors open.
Right.
For some sap that couldn't make it or whatever. So
that's the equivalent of when you used to go up to the game at gate time and hope that the fucking scalper wasn't going to give you a fake ticket.
Yeah. So I cut you off. You were talking about Bill Burr.
Oh yeah. Anyway, it's an outdoor venue as well. And that's the thing I wanted to mention. He has a no cell phone policy, which I think is fucking cool.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it has to do with paying attention, but it probably has to do with stealing jokes too, or recording shit,
I think it mostly comes from the piece of shit that was recording Louis C.K. when he was trying to work new material out on his way back and kept releasing stuff. Or it happened like twice, I think, where Louis C.K. was the Comedy Cellar working out new material after he'd been banned or whatever, canceled. And he said some shit that was shocking, and someone recorded it out of context, and also it's a joke in development, and stuck it out there on social media, and he got heat. So a lot of comedians, including him, because I just went to see him last summer with Sean Mills, and they basically didn't collect your phone, which is good because I have fucking type 1 diabetes and it's my glucose monitor. So like they didn't take my phone, which was nice. But if you were looking at it, the usher would come up and go, hey, put that away. And I'm like, that's fine, whatever. But I didn't know Bill Burr. Does Bill Burr, there's no way he collects, right? Because there's 10,000.
They give you a bag. So you have to put it in a bag.
Souvenir bag.
Yeah. So either you leave it in the fucking car or you go there, they lock it. They have a master key to open your bag or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And then when you leave, you can open it up again, which I'm fucking cool with because you get to make your choice, right? If you want to go, you go. And if you don't, you don't.
Yeah, I got to just carry my my shitty this with me. Just walk in with this thing in my pocket.
Just to be safe, you know?
Finger pricks. Yeah, right. Well, because my issue is like I can go all day without doing anything to my blood sugar if I, generally because I manage it so tight. But when I'm out at a show, there's going to be beers and there's going to be junk food sometimes. And so it's the worst possible combination for me, to be like,
and there
I can't look at this thing and I'm going to drink a fucking chocolate stout tonight, or something like, which I don't do anymore anyway, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. So there might be rules. I don't know, but that's
medical device. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't tried. And I'm not the guy that will. I just fucking deal with it. So, oh shit. I just had fucking wicked deja vu. It was wild. I looked at a comment.
Yep.
By
George Carlin
S14 down here. No, in the comments on StreamYard. And you said something. Yeah, that one. And I don't even know why. And I just had like massive deja vu. Anyway, I don't believe in that shit, but it happens. Or I don't believe in some weird cosmic thing. I'm also not saying it isn't because I'm very agnostic about everything. So, Bill Burr, can I ask?
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you what you paid.
Oh,
where are you sitting?
We're close. So there's tables.
Were you over 200 a ticket to get that close?
I think so. I think 250 maybe.
You might be in the same realm as us. He might just cost that much right now.
I think so. We're like they're like tables. It's like tables of 8.
Oh,
and they're on the ground and they're so we're pretty close. We wanted to, and I'm like, I couldn't believe Becky said she'd go, but I was like, hey hon, you remember F is for Family? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, we'll go, honey.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy. And she went, oh, the guy with the long hair that's the neighbor?
Yeah, that's him. Yes.
That guy.
The one that's like Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. That's I didn't pay. I paid like $115 or something per ticket last night.
Everything fucking costs up here though. Like
I forget about that too.
Yeah. I mean, just add 30% for exchange rate.
God
so
damn it. Yeah, brutal. I don't know. Man, I remember I went up there to that place once. I went to Toronto when I was
once is enough.
15 or something to see Nolan Ryan. I might have told this on your show once.
No, I don't think so. Or maybe you did, but anyway, tell it again. I love Nolan Ryan.
I was a huge Nolan Ryan fan when I was a kid. He was with the Rangers and they were playing the Blue Jays, and he maybe retired like a year or two later.
Did he throw a fucking no-hitter that game?
Not the game I was at. He was injured in the game I was at. So he was supposed to, we figured out, like, how you can look at the rotation back then and predict better, every 4 games or whatever it was. And we kind of worked it out to where we were like, we think he'll pitch this game, right? And my parents bought tickets, which was a big deal because we were wicked broke, and drove up there, whatever, spent the night in a hotel in Toronto, also a big deal. And then my mom wanted to eat dinner at some shitty spaghetti factory or something. And,
they are shitty. But anyway, yep.
Well, back then it was high end, and I'm like, high end. I worked at the Italian fucking restaurant at this point. And I'm just like, no, this is dog shit. So we were late because of that, right? Because my mom wanted to get food, and because we were so broke, she wanted to take her leftovers with her, even though we were going to a baseball game. And I'm like, no, we can't do that. And she's like, I'm not leaving food. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm only 15, so whatever. So we were late to the game by like an inning, not that big of a deal, except for that we sat down and we knew he was injured, right? So he wasn't going to play, but obviously he was going to be with the team most likely. And he was there, and I got there and I sat down and I got my Texas Rangers hat on, and the guy next to me goes, oh, you're a Rangers fan? And I go, I'm a Nolan Ryan fan. And he goes, oh, you missed it right before the game. He was up signing autographs for everybody and meeting people. Taking pictures. So I missed that shit. And then I was like, oh, really? Like, so bummed out, And then he was in the dugout, obviously. And or whatever, the pitchers, whatever the fuck that's called.
Yeah, the bullpen.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. I don't watch it anymore because they allow cheating. So he was in the bullpen, and something my dad was talking to me or something, and I was looking this way, and the Megatron whatever TV thing was up over here, and then they panned over to him, and he stood up and started waving, and I was looking the other way, and my dad went, "Oh, look, there he is," and I looked back, and it was gone. I didn't see Nolan Ryan once.
Oh,
not even on the TV screen, and cuz spaghetti, god damn it. Anyway, so that was my trip to see Nolan Ryan. Very, very horribly uneventful. And then swore to myself, because when he was going to the Hall of Fame, I was going to be, old enough to like go to that on my own. And I was like, I'm going to go see him get in the Hall of Fame. It's not far from where I grew up, and I was living in Massachusetts by then, and I was like, it wouldn't have been far. And then I went through a streak. I was living with this girl and her kid, and we were so broke, right?
Aww.
We lived in an apartment. We had no furniture. We slept on an air mattress. We had a TV VCR combo. Remember those?
I sure do.
And that was it. That was our entertainment. We ran a 99-cent movie and get a bacon and onion pizza. And it was like $8 total. And that was our entertainment every week, one day, right? That was it. And I didn't eat. Like, she had a baby. And I would, he had WIC, and I was a line cook, and I'd bring home a hamburger every night, and I'd give it to her. Right. That was my employee meal, and she would eat that, and the baby had WIC, and I just fucking never ate. I drank milk, but the baby didn't drink a lot of milk. So I drank milk. That's like what I had, but it was a shitty time. And then one night so we had the rabbit ears. Right.
Yeah.
And one night I'm laying there after a long shift, and I'm watching like the 11 o'clock news or whatever. And the sports segment comes on, and it's like, Nolan Ryan inducted into the Hall of Fame today. I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, I'm doomed to never see this guy, and I still haven't. I've never seen him.
Was it
I should go see him on purpose when I go to Texas again. But
was it 1991? Do you remember? Do you know the year?
For when I went
to Toronto?
I feel like I was older. No, I definitely was at least okay. I was summer youth employment age. Do you know what that is? Like when you work in the summer at like the high school, like
I did. Yeah.
And shit. Yeah. I was that age. I don't know.
Because I had to look it up because I knew so when he was with Texas, he no-hit the Blue Jays in 1991. It was his last no-hitter, but it was in fucking Texas. It was May of 91.
I didn't know that was the Blue Jays. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. It was.
Did you watch the documentary, his documentary on Netflix?
No.
It's so good.
He was insane. What is he? He's got the most walks too, doesn't he?
I think so. Yeah. Well, you have to. I mean,
yeah, sure you do.
Fun. Although the ratio is like, if you did a percentage move on it, it's not good.
No.
But I watched it with my wife, and I sat there next to her going, "Oh, and then this happened. And then that, and then he did this. Oh, and watch this. He's going to beat the shit out of this guy." That was the best
Robin
part.
Ventura.
Yeah. You go, it comes up, and he's like, they're like, and then the biggest highlight most people remember was one night versus who's the Brewers or some shit. And I was
White
like,
Sox, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I go, oh, he's going to beat the shit out of Robin Ventura now. And she's like, what? I'm like, oh, wait and see. This is amazing. Who the fuck charges like the greatest pitcher of all time who throws right-handed? It's like, why don't you just fight Muhammad Ali?
But he was fucking 45 at the time. I think.
But that fucking arm coming at you.
Because he
was 100 miles an hour still,
It was a headlock, wasn't it? Beating on his head.
Yeah, got him in left arm headlock, bam, and just a couple like kind of headlock uppercuts. And you saw the blood pour out. And it was the greatest moment in baseball history.
It was awesome. We were lucky we got to see, for me in hockey, do you remember Guy Lafleur? Are you a hockey guy at all?
That's the most fucking Canadian thing I've ever heard in my life, what you just said.
Yeah, because
I know who he is. I'm just messing. Yeah, it's just you should just always say, "Do you want to hear something Canadian?" What? Guy Lafleur. It's just the most Canadian shit ever.
Because he came back, right? He was fucking ancient, and he was playing. What's that?
Is he Canadian?
I think so. Yeah. Well, he's from Quebec, so I don't know if that counts.
Oh, I'm just fucking with it. Go ahead. Yeah, I know who Guy Lafleur is. Anyway,
I always look at him and Nolan Ryan kind of the same because they were both way past their prime and they were still playing. Nolan Ryan played well into it, but I remember both of them in the early 90s. They were both kind of just around, and it was cool to be able to see those guys play because it wasn't something that I don't know. It was cool. Guy Lafleur, I think he had bills he had to pay, but Nolan Ryan just played because he could fucking still
Love
throw
it.
heat.
Yeah, you wanted to do it. I don't know. So I don't know hockey at all. I know that name.
Sure.
I think who's your football equivalent for that to me is Bruce Smith. He was drafted in '87 and he played until he played into the 2000s. I know that. I think he played 20 years as a defensive end, which is wild. And
Are we talking NFL or CFL?
Yeah, NFL. What?
Okay. You said Canadian equivalent. I just, when you say Canadian,
did I? I meant to say football equivalent.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my bad.
Remember Doug Flutie?
Of course.
Yeah, he was up here in the CFL for a few years
for the Bills. They never should have benched Doug Flutie. We probably would have went to the Super Bowl that year.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered. I'm sorry.
I'm out of here.
4 years in a row.
I'm out of here.
Oh my God.
I'm out. Awful. See ya.
I know. Well, guys,
I'm immune to it. I'm immune to it.
Bo Jackson.
Yeah, I got a friend that's a massive Bo Jackson fan, huge Raiders fan, and a Royals fan. This guy, so it makes sense, right? I don't have much of a recollection of Bo Jackson. Like,
really?
Nah. You know what it is? Broke as shit. Broadcast TV, 3 channels.
Sure.
Like, when are you watching anything? Like, I got to watch the Bills most of the time, unless they were blacked out, which wasn't often, so that's good. But except the Houston, and if the greatest comeback of all time in the playoffs, that game was blacked out where I lived. But I watched it on a 12-inch screen in the mall. I don't know how that guy had it, but at a drugstore in the mall where my mom wanted to go shopping, and I was like, fucking Bills playoffs game. Are you insane? And then we went shopping because my mom called the shots, and it was on at a Phase Drugs. So I was like, I watched it with like 19 other people on a 12-inch screen with rabbit ears and tinfoil. Yeah, it was cool. That was cool. Like, it would have been better to watch it on a good TV, kind of, but the memory is great, But I don't remember what I was going with that. Give me a whole lot of this where I go, I don't know if I can remember.
Whatever. You know what? So we had so you guys had ESPN, of course. We had TSN. Well, not you, but now. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
When I say you guys, I just mean everybody south of the Canadian.
The United
border.
States.
Yeah, the states, as we call them.
Yankees.
Yankees. Yeah, we call everybody Yankees. Soon as you go, yeah. We had TSN, the sports network, which is like ESPN.
Yeah.
But they had Sports Desk until ESPN, bought them and called it
That's
Sports
the hockey guy with the hair, yeah?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. They were all in. So every morning I would get up and watch it, and I watched so many highlights. I remember, Bo Jackson breaking the bat over his knee, and of course Nolan Ryan beating up Robin Ventura, and I loved it. Yeah, I was a sports guy so bad. I would watch the Winter Olympics, the Summer Olympics, fucking rugby, Aussie rules football. I'd watch goddamn cricket and didn't have a sweet clue what was going on.
Nice.
Strongman competitions, whatever I could get.
Sports weren't big in my house. I want to say there was a super chat there. I don't know if you saw it.
I wanted to shout him out. Thank you, Desert Ranger. You're crazy. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Words. Oh, sports, like, it wasn't big. It was big in my house was history and war,
Okay.
So like there wasn't a lot of sports in my house in general. I was into sports. I had friends, obviously, that were into it. So like the problem I had watching if there was sports on, I did see the Nolan Ryan Robin Ventura thing.
Right.
Just like by the stroke of luck. Because I was the youngest. My brother's 10 years older than me. My dad is obviously, like 36 years older than me, right? And it's his fucking house. So like, and rabbit ears and 3 channels. So like every night it was like MASH, or like Lonesome Dove or some shit. So like
Bonanza?
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know because I hated all of it. So I never get to see anything. When I was real little, it was just like all this shit is in the way of the Muppet Show. That's how I looked at it.
Love the fucking Muppet Show.
I think MASH was right before the Muppet Show, so I grew up fucking hating MASH, right? Because it was on right ahead of them. I had to sit through an hour. It's an hour.
It was so goddamn boring as a kid.
It was fucking awful. I don't care how much Radar put a dress on and made you try to laugh. It wasn't funny to you if you were, 6.
No,
so
like, not at all.
Are you my age? I'm 44.
I'm 42. So we're basically this. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, you're a fucking millennial. So anyway, anyways, I'm a Xennial. I don't know these words.
I grew up as a goddamn Gen X.
I feel like you're right in that slot. Yeah. there's that weird sweet spot slot, which actually I think is the best place to be because we were around enough to exploit no internet and basically no video games except for Atari, right?
Yep.
And then Nintendo, or Nintendo as the old folks called it then. And then all of a sudden there's computers, right? And if you had a computer in your house, you get to remember when your friends on the bus would go, "You have the internet at your house?" And I'd go, "Yeah, the whole fucking thing." Like every time, because they didn't understand what it was. It's like now with Bitcoin or something. Like people don't know what it is, you know.
My grandfather, I went to visit him one time, and he goes, "Do you hear they're building a new road?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "There's some new highway." And I said, I don't know, Gramps. He said, "This information highway or something." I'm like, oh. But you know what? I'm going to digress and tell you a fun story for a second. We went to McDonald's. Well, my dad took him to McDonald's one time. He was getting up in there in age, but he wasn't senile. He was just simple some days. And dad said, "You got to go to the bathroom, Gramps?" "Oh yeah, I think I will." So he was gone fucking 15 minutes. He finally comes back and Dad said, "What took you so long?" He goes, "God," he said, "it was the darkest bathroom I ever been in and the highest fucking urinal you'll ever see." And Dad said, "What the hell's going on?" So he says, "You got to show me this bathroom." He takes him over. He went in the janitor's closet, pissed in the janitor's sink with the light turned off.
That's great.
Oh, that's Gramps.
Janitor's sink.
Yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, but that was just Gramps. You know, he's a good man. I miss him.
I like it.
Yeah,
a real pro pees in the bathroom sink while he brushes his teeth. Save water.
Well, that could be.
I stole that from Corolla. That's a Corolla joke.
That's a good one.
I like that idea. No, I don't. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I could go in some bad urine jokes. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody wants to hear that. We somebody mentioned like the sports we watched, the ones we played. Yes, that's kind of where I was going, was like we played a shitload of football. We had a huge side yard wide open, right? So there's a lot of baseball, softball, football going on out there, and a lot of yard darts and
whole lawn darts. Yes.
Awesome. So they were left over from like the 70s at my house. It was fantastic. We had two games. I can get into yard darts in a second. The second one is much fucking scarier. So we played the regular yard darts game. Everybody knows. Throw it up in the air and run, right? We did that with a bow. A lot.
Like, wait, you mean
like a fucking compound bow?
And would you put the yard darts in it, or you would use
like an arrow?
Oh my God!
Fire it up in the air and run. We were insane. So we did the yard darts all the time. You'd stand in the middle. We had this field. I want to say it's 200 feet maybe by 80 or 100 feet. Right? It's big. So from the road to the woods is about 80 or 100 feet. And from my parents' house to my neighbor's house, about 200 feet. We would play softball and baseball there. And for decades, my grandfather would say, if anybody can, because the neighbors, we liked them, but, they're your neighbor.
Yeah.
You like them a lot, but sometimes you don't. So there was a window on the side of their garage. And my grandfather was always like, if anybody can fucking break that window, I'll give him $100 and pay for the window. That was his thing. No one ever did it, unfortunately.
Oh, that's awesome.
We tried like a bastard. We'd hit the side of their garage. And that's a long hit. It was like a 220 yard or foot. It had to be longer than that. Like it was a whack, especially with the softball. So, and we were like 9. So there's that. But anyway, we would stand in the middle of that field with the yard dart. And someone would throw it straight up and go, run. And everybody would just run. And man, I'll tell you what, the reason these kids are fucking soft now is because they never have that feeling in their spine as they hightail it across the fucking field for basically no reason, because it could just come down on you no matter how fast you're running.
Sure, it didn't matter where you went.
And it'll fucking kill you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, probably. And no one ever got hit, so that's good. You got close. Very close. And when it hits the ground, it goes in like 70% of the way if the ground's wet. It's crazy. So then we upped our ante when we were like 13, maybe.
Okay.
And we would do crazy shit. We would use a bow and fucking fire an arrow into the and
Jeez.
run. I think they did it in there's a Sandler movie or something where they did that.
Had to have been one of the early ones.
No, I think it's the one where they go on vacation with their families and
sure.
yeah.
Grown up.
Yeah. They do it in that movie and someone gets hit. It's great. I think they might have done it in both. I don't remember. We did that though, and it was nuts. Makes sense. I think Sandler went to Oswego State for like a half a minute. So, and he grew up right here. He grew up like a mile from here, where I am right now.
Anyway. I love that dude. He is an underrated actor when he has the right role too. I can't think of the one right now. The awkward one that he did in early 2000s, where he owns a furniture store.
Is the one where he's saving the pudding cups?
Yeah, and he's got like a purple glove. Yeah, it's been a lot of years. I see. That was just before I met Becky, and I was like this awkward fucking dude that had like negative luck with women, and so I really like. I seen myself in him. That's what I loved about it.
Yeah,
you know, yeah. Like he was such an awkward fucker, man. But it was.
He does serious roles. It's great. What was the one? Rain on Me or something?
Yes. Yep.
That was excellent.
Hidden Gems or something gems.
Yeah.
He's
recently.
Good.
Really good. Yeah. And his comedies suck now.
Yeah, they're not great.
They're so bad. I was listening. Somebody was saying the other day on a podcast that basically he doesn't really give a shit about making comedies. He just wants to go on vacation and have it be paid for. So he like goes to Hawaii and makes the fucking movie, and it's terrible. But he's like, I went to Hawaii for this winter, so who gives a shit, or whatever.
I like hearing him talk about Chris Farley, because they talk about their whole group, and how that's what he does. He fucking has a movie which basically gives all his friends a job. And I've listened to him a few times talk about how he wishes Farley was still around, because, I love that dude, man. He was funny. He just, he just wanted to make people laugh all the time.
There's a lot of those. Well, I mean, it's like now norm,
Oh yes.
Oh fuck. Who's he? Oh, Hartman.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it wasn't his fault how he died, poor guy.
Oh, yeah. Didn't his wife kill him? Or is that the suspicion or something?
Yeah, I forget exactly. Yeah.
It's not official, but we all know it's true. That kind of thing.
Wasn't it like a shotgun or something? Or am I crazy? Or am I misremembering?
I think that Hartman's wife killed him just like Epstein didn't kill himself. I think it's like
fair. That. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Sure.
Is that a demonetization statement?
I have no idea. I won't even put this one up. Yeah.
Because like Tim Pool would fucking be homeless by now if you said that and got demonetized. So, I don't remember where we were going with all this stuff. I mentioned before the show tropes, like stupid shit people say that drives me crazy. You want to get into this?
Yeah,
this is very important.
This is very important. Yes,
very important workshop subject. I love that these are all great workshops. I also we did talking about tools or maybe
you know what? It's just two tools talking, so we're good.
Right? So some of the things that drive me insane, the one we mentioned was when people say my personal opinion.
In my personal opinion, because they're insecure about giving that. They're just trying to couch it in insecurity.
Yeah. Here's the thing. When you said my, and then anything you said after that, we knew it was your fucking opinion. We don't have to say opinion or personal. Just say what you said. You're saying it. We knew it was your opinion because it's you talking. It's not like it's someone else saying it and they go, Joe's personal opinion. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't need personally. Anyway, these are the kind of things that drive me. Like extra words annoy the shit out of me. I don't know if it's an efficiency thing.
Or it goes back to being safe though. Because, people are going to get tired of me talking about this, but I just finished a few days ago, Atlas Shrugged. And have you ever read it?
Nope. I don't.
Oh, fuck. You need to. Oh, well, I listen. I don't read.
I'm kidding. I can read.
Yeah.
I just put this thing out. I don't know what the fuck it says.
So
I have it on audiobook and I've never listened to it.
Everybody in there is all about being safe. And they just use 1,000 words to say almost nothing because they figure if they just keep throwing words at you, eventually you'll just agree with them and move on.
Yeah, and maybe.
That's what happens now.
It's the cop. It's like, let me just ask you to go ahead here and let me just ask you to do. Just ask me, dude. You don't have to fucking.
Just fucking say it.
I was thinking in my head is one that always drove me insane because we know you were thinking. Where the fuck else were you thinking? Like, right? I was thinking in my left ankle about this thing. No, dude. We know you were thinking in you just say your stupid thought. Like it's probably shitty. Just say it. I'm sorry. I'm too negative.
Dude, you don't stop.
You want to be less
Canadian. You don't need to apologize.
I'm not Canadian.
I know, but you sound like you're Canadian. I'm sorry. You know.
I was a 40-mile swim away from being Canadian that my ancestors made before I was born.
They made the right choice.
Yeah. Completely different.
Completely
I
different.
know that's a Monty Python one, but it's like, it's different. What's
Sure.
the difference between it's different and completely different? Right? I mean, and maybe that one's weak.
No, it's all right.
Because I guess it can be slightly similar, right? So completely different would be,
I don't know,
right?
similar. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. How about in this present time when someone says that to you
Ugh.
in this present time or something?
That's just
we
word
know
salad.
that's obvious. Yeah, right. That it's already going on. Or when someone says, now this word is obviously, this will resonate with the audience because it's so overused. I literally shit myself.
Oh,
Wow, really?
I catch myself doing that and I'm embarrassed to use the word literally.
Yeah, I try to stop myself and make sure, like, not stop myself, like, you know, if your brain works fast enough, right?
Yeah.
If you tune your shit in, you can
Cut those words out.
In the moment, ask yourself before the words exit your mouth, is that literal? And maybe stop it. And I'm okay at it now. You have to teach
Literally, to me, literally is the modern equivalent of like for Valley Girl. It's almost that bad.
Yeah.
It's literally that bad.
100%. 100%. There's another one that's fucking getting annoying, and I say it a lot. And yeah, there's some of those words, man. There used to be massive arguments in restaurants over some of those words that are like the prefix of the word
the
is
same and opposite.
What's that?
They mean the same and the opposite. Flammable and inflammable, they shouldn't mean the same thing, but they do.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. Oh, that's a new one. I like it. That's a new one. How about global pandemic?
Oh, well, because pandemic fucking implies global to begin with.
Irregardless, that's the one. Irregardless. Thank you, Dixon Way. Again, thank you, Dixon Way. Irregardless. Massive debates in my life between people over whether or not it's irregardless or regardless. I don't even know the answer anymore. It's been that many debates.
I believe irregardless is not actually a word.
I think that's wrong, right? Yeah, that's not a word.
Irregardless, we're not going to use it. So
back to the nitpicking ones. Very unique. Fucking drives me crazy because unique is already unique. We don't need to be very unique. And it's usually a douchebag describing another douchebag when they say, Sally's very unique. You know, like, oh, okay, we get it. She has a fucking bull thing in her nose, okay, and purple hair. Like, calm down. We understand she'll never have a real job and she'll live in her mommy's basement forever. She doesn't need to be very unique to do that. She just needs to be unique.
Yes. I like unique with quotation marks around it because that usually...
when people start a sentence out with I personally, that's probably my most hated one.
That's soft language. That's what that is. Again, it's
because
there's a lawyer. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, we knew it was you. You're fucking saying it. What? It's like the opinion thing. Yeah, like stop it. This used to drive me like I had a lot of I managed a lot of people in restaurants, and they would go on to other shit, obviously, and they would ask me to give them a reference, and they would always call me up and go, "Hey, I have this interview," and if it was a real job, I would go, "Look, I have two things that you need to drill it into your head while you're interviewing, and they ask you a question. Don't ever say, I think or I feel. Ever. Right. It's because fuck that. Convey confidence and power.
100%.
Okay? I think and I feel is weak sauce. You know, like knock it off. Because if you're like, you know, well, how are you going to handle a difficult employee? Well, you know, I feel like those employees, gross. Just say, this is how I handle it. You know, like what the hell? And I got that out of my lexicon in that world. I might do it again now for all I know. Long ago with interviews and whatnot, especially. And anytime I was talking to someone above me at work, I never said I think or I feel ever. Because and you find that people will listen to whatever the fuck you're saying. You know, if you just like state it like it's a fact, even if you don't know if it's a fact, just state it like it's a fact.
It's the whole thing. If you wear a reflective vest and you have a clipboard, you can go anywhere you fucking want.
Yeah.
Because you convey authority. Yeah. That's all it is. Go ahead.
But my number, okay, I know I said I had my number one. Sure. But what started all this for me, and it goes way back, is, and it's going to be, let me make sure I describe this correctly. So let's go back to sports.
In a picture for us. I like that.
Okay, we're going back to sports. We're going to go back to Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan just 2 weeks ago, he threw his latest no-hitter, and now it's the offseason, right? And Nolan Ryan maybe is a free agent at this point or something, or maybe he's leaving the Astros or whatever, right? Wherever he went after that. And you got this douchebag sports announcer on ESPN that's talking about teams and them getting pitchers, right? And he's talking about the Texas Rangers. And he will say, when you get a Nolan Ryan, blah, blah, blah. Okay, dumbass. It's not Nolan Ryan. You're talking about fucking Nolan Ryan. You don't have to say Nolan Ryan because it's the dude. You're talking about the guy, right? Now, if you're talking about if you do this in your sports announcer and you go, well, if you can get a pitcher like a Nolan Ryan, that's correct, right? But they do it. It happens not. Watch ESPN for 35 seconds. You'll hear it 48 times, right? And it's like, it drives me insane. I know it's just me being a nitpicky douchebag, right? No. But it fucking drives me insane because all it does, like, I listen to a lot of Bills talk radio on podcast form, right? And there's like guys that I think are pretty smart in general, right? That do some stuff on there and they'll fucking do it. And the minute they do it, I'm like, oh, you're an idiot. Because like, it's not an item or something. It's not an object. It's the guy. Right. And you're not comparing other guys to a guy, which is when it would be okay. You know, if you're describing a type of guy, then it's okay. Right. If you're like, you know, he's a quarterback like a Brett Favre kind of guy, you know, or whatever, then you're okay doing that kind of thing. Right. But if you're talking about the guy, like, don't fucking say, sorry, I'm okay.
That's
now.
Okay.
I'm glad I get this out in public. It's in the lexicon, or it's in the ether now. That's the ether. Right. Yeah. But,
in grade 8, I had an English teacher. His name was Mr. Olson. He said, I'm going to tell you guys something today that you'll never forget for the rest of your life. And I thought, okay. And he said, for free means for nothing. He goes, you do not need to use the word for in front of free. Because if you said you got something free, it means you got it for nothing. And if you say, I got something for free, it means you got it for nothing.
Yeah.
And of course, that damn thing is stuck with me for the rest of my life.
I like that. And I didn't know that. And I don't know. I'm sure I've said I got it for free.
Oh, we all do. Sure. But I've never, every time I've heard it since, I've thought of Mr. Olson in grade 8 English.
I want to make sure I'm not wrong before I say this next thing.
Oh, whatever.
Look it up over here on the other screen. No, like, so I was told a long time ago by somebody, okay, I was right. It's right. Okay. I'll just say it. So, because I was a sauté cook for years and whatever, Northern Italian foods from scratch, was really good. Shrimp scampi just means shrimp.
So scampi means shrimp?
Yeah, in Italian, I guess. I think I'm right about that. Scampi means shrimp. So it's just fucking shrimp.
Sure.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, that's all. So, like,
I should have. There's so many fucking words right now that I hear all the time that are overused. I should have made a list of those because there are just so many.
I should have given you a warning. Sorry.
No.
I was trying to write some shit down. Want to hear a joke?
Yes, I do. You said you had the best joke ever.
The best joke ever. I'm still working on it.
That's fine.
There's some contradictory shit. All right. There's this guy. It's not my joke. I just know this joke, so I'm not working on it. That's all a fucking lie. So there's this guy, and he's going to build an outdoor fireplace, okay? And he gets all the plans together, and he's going to make it out of bricks, the red bricks. Yep. And he needs 186 bricks. I don't know if that's a realistic number, but it doesn't matter. So he's like, I'm going to drive down to the hardware store. I'm going to buy 186 bricks. Now, I don't have a lot of storage space at my house, and I have no use for bricks otherwise. So I want an exact amount of bricks, right? So he drives down to the hardware store, and he goes, I need red bricks. I need 186 red bricks. And the guy that owns the hardware store, we'll call him Phil, he's like, hey, man, I've got 187 bricks here, and now they're $1 each, so it'd be 186 bucks. But if you take all 187, I'll give them to you for $100 just because I don't want extra bricks kicking around the shop. And the guy's like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'll figure something out. Maybe one will break, maybe one will fall off the truck, whatever. I'll have one extra. So he drives back to his house and he starts building his fireplace. and he's got his mortar going, whatever. And he's building this beautiful outdoor fireplace. And he gets down to the very end and he places the last brick. And then he looks over. He's got one brick left. And he says, fuck, do I do with this brick? So he fucking throws it up in the air. It's not, it needs work.
Did I miss it?
He throws it in the air. That's not funny.
Right. Well, did I
what,
miss
you
it?
got a better joke? Go ahead.
What happens when it comes down? Did I miss it?
I don't know. That's the joke. That's the whole joke. That's it. That's the end. It's just maybe it needs work.
That's a Norm Macdonald joke. That is.
If everybody in the comments thinks that joke needs work, say yes, please. You got a joke?
I can't tell my jokes. I won't put
that, Tim.
What's that?
Top that joke, Tim.
Oh my God. I can't tell my good jokes. I can't tell. I would tell them to you off air. Let's put it that way. So.
That was a bad joke. I'm sorry, folks.
No, that was good.
You want to hear another one? I got a better one.
Does this one have a real punchline? You're fucking Norm Macdonald me again. Go ahead.
It's possible. All right. Someone said it's an AI joke. Nobody liked it. I'm not very confident right now in the second joke, so I have to rebuild my confidence. All right. So I feel like I'm bombing on stage right now. This is bad.
Do you want me to tell a joke while you're working on it?
No. Yeah, you got one?
I do. I think I can get away with this one.
Do it. I like
All
it.
Right.
I'll think about mine.
In Canada, you know where Newfoundland is, right? Or have you heard of Newfoundland before?
Yeah, they have dogs.
Yeah. So we every year they have the Newfoundland hammer throwing contest, and it's a big deal. So the media, they show up every year to cover it, and so the first guy steps up, and he is from Quebec, and he throws the hammer, and it goes 3 times as far as the world record. The media comes in, they said, "Holy shit! How did you come up with this?" And he said, "Well, let me tell you. My grandfather was a lumberjack. My dad was a lumberjack, and I'm a lumberjack too. And that's where I got my strength to throw the hammer." Okay, no problem. So then Nova Scotian, he steps up. He throws the hammer, goes twice as fucking far as the guy from Quebec. And they're blown away. They've never seen 2 records once. So the media steps up. They said, "Sir," he says, how did you throw it so far?" Simple. He said, "Me grandfather was a lobster fisherman. Me father was a lobster fisherman, and I'm a lobster fisherman too. That's where I got my strength to throw the hammer." So, I mean, the Newfoundlander, he steps up and he picks that hammer up and he fucking throws it 10 times further than both of them combined. And I mean, they're just blown away. They're live streaming this whole thing. They step up to the Newfie and they said, "Sir, how in the world did you throw that hammer so far?" He goes, "Well, let me tell you, bye." He says, "Me grandfather was on welfare. Me father was on welfare. And when I seen the hammer, I thought it'd have to do me some work."
I like it. That's good. Is that picking on people from Newfoundland? Is that
Yeah,
what's
we
going
do.
on here?
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't
sure
know that.
somebody's going to get me, and I'm
Somebody's mad now.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. So,
Well, that's like the Rochambeau jokes. So,
Yeah.
All right, I got a better joke. Here we go. Oh, thanks, Dixon Way.
Yes,
Not
thanks,
you.
Dixon.
You should thank him.
They love you.
All right. Here we go. Thanks for that fill-in. Thanks for that for me. That break. So now I can have my confidence back. All right.
No worries.
So a guy gets on an airplane. This is way back. All right. And when you could smoke. And he's smoking a big fucking stogie, right? Huge.
Oh,
puffing away. Big top hat, And then a woman gets on with a little dog. Okay. And she sits next to him. And the dog's barking and barking and barking, like little dogs do.
Yep.
The worst. And he's smoking his cigar and the dog's barking. And he looks over at her and he goes, "Hey, I don't know if I can listen to that dog bark this whole plane ride." And she's like, "Well, I don't know if I can smell this cigar this whole plane ride. I hate the smell of cigars. My ex-husband smoked cigars. I divorced him over cigars." And he's like, "Oh, lucky man then." Anyway, so then they take off. They're flying, right? And the dog's barking and the guy's smoking. And the dog's barking and the guy's smoking, right? It's just going on and on and on. And the dog won't shut the fuck up. And the guy just keeps relighting his cigar every time he goes out. So she's like, "Look, this is ridiculous. The whole cabin is full of smoke from the cigar. All right. I can barely breathe. I can't even see. There's so much cigar smoke in this cabin." And he goes, look, lady, it's not against the rules. And the worst part about this flight isn't my cigar. It's your goddamn yappy dog. If you could shut your dog up, that'd be great. And so now they're both like, like really mad, and they're just looking forward, and the plane's flying, right? And they're about halfway through the flight now. So a little bit of time goes by, and a drink cart goes, meandering through the smoke, and the fucking dog's like knocking drinks over and whatever. And then finally the guy's like, I've had it. And he looks at the lady and he goes, look, if you don't shut your fucking dog up, I'm going to throw it out the window. And she goes, if you throw my dog out the window, I'm taking that cigar out of your mouth and I'm throwing that cigar out the window. And he's like, you can't do that. And she's like, well, you can't throw my dog out. And now they're really fucking mad and they're flying, right? Okay. 10 minutes goes by. He goes, that's it. He fucking grabs the dog. He rolls the window of the plane down and he throws the fucking dog out the window. All right. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you just threw my dog out. She snatches the fucking cigar out of his mouth and throws the cigar out the window. They roll the window of the plane up and they go about their business, really emotionally angry now, right? 5-10 minutes goes by. The guy looks out the window and there's the dog on the wing of the plane. What's in his mouth?
Fucking cigar.
The brick from the first joke.
You asshole.
I love that fucking joke. And I've always wanted to get it on camera. I did it one day. I was starting to tell you this before the show. I did that joke on camera alone in here one day, and my audio was echoing. And I couldn't fix it. And I was like, I'm never doing it again. And tonight I was talking to my wife, and I go, I'm doing the fucking brick joke tonight on Tim's show so I can have it recorded.
You made my night. Oh my fucking God.
That is
beautiful? Perfect. Well, the whole fucking setup was beautiful. That was perfect.
You got to have someone to tell a joke in between.
Yes.
You have to. That's why I'm like, come on, you can tell one.
Are you ever going to come to Self-Reliance Festival, do you think?
Every year I want to. Oh, wait, I'm thinking of living free in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Every year I want to go to Nicole's thing.
Yes.
But it's the worst possible timing for me. It's just this time of the year. Like I was saying, I've been working like 120 hours a week. And it's just like, or maybe 100. I don't know. Can you work 120 hours? Anyway, so if you can, I've been. So I did the math one week and I don't remember what it was. And then I'm sure I exaggerated later when I was bitching. So I want to go. And the Self-Reliance Festival thing is big, right? You just went there. It's big, like size-wise. I feel like it's big.
About 500, and they're shooting to be at 1,000. Yeah,
because I go to Jack's most of the time, and that's like 40 to 80.
Right.
And it's interesting. So maybe is the answer.
The reason I'm asking, I've had this idea kicking around in my head for a bit that I'm going to like fucking 6 prepping Self-Reliance type events this summer. Something nobody ever does is any stand up at this shit. Yeah. And I think we should do some sort of like half hour, an hour of stand up. Everybody, 4 or 5 guys put together 10 minutes of stand up. Yeah,
like,
no.
Hour.
Yeah, no, I meant like 4 or 5 of us, right? And I would love to do that. It would be
I have a friend that lives on the river or the lake, across the lake from me. Okay. And he's an actual comedian. And I reached out to him before Jack's last thing, and I'm like, hey, Joe, I need to like write some material. And I do know and I don't know. Like,
right.
You don't know what you don't know kind of thing, right? So like, I think I can write material, but I'm not really sure, So I wanted to like sit down with him and be like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Whatever. Is my thought process correct? That kind of thing. And it just never worked out. And then I didn't do it. I was going to do like 10 minutes there. And I didn't mention it to anybody. I think I brought it up. Oh, that was the thing. The last time I was on your show on the comment the night when I called in, that's what I was like. I'm like, well, there's a thing I never disclosed. That was the thing. I fucking never got around to saying it. Yeah. So I want to do that. And I thought about it. I've always kind of, I've done a little bit, whatever, but I've always wanted to do it, like for reals. And I thought about it and I was like, oh, perfect opportunity is to do stand up for preppers.
Yes, because we're a warm audience already.
Yeah,
we already know, like we get each other. I would,
yeah. Because, but I'd need to figure out a right for that. Like it's, You know, it seems like it'd be super easy, but then I started trying to think of stuff because I drive 6 to 8 hours twice a week on my deliveries. And I'm just like, oh, what can I think about? You know, and it's like, I couldn't really, but it's when you're trying to come up with a thing on a subject, it's fucking impossible. It's just got to come to you, you know, like, and then you got to write it down. And then I never do. So, yeah, it would be cool. And I thought about that because I've been saying I need to come up with a thing to present at these things. Like I've presented at Jack's. I did a whole thing on microgreens twice, but it's way too much. And the things that I do, they're like, I'm sure I can figure out how to do it, right? But like growing microgreens at an event is like, you got to have some microgreens to show people, right?
Right.
So at Nicole's, I could pack everything in the van and drive down and have like live trays that I take with me, and even bring like different stages of growth if I really wanted to. You know, I could do something like that. But flying to Jack's, it was tough. Like I got there on a Tuesday or something, and he had planted some shit, and then I planted some shit, and then like the event started like Thursday night or whatever or something like that, and then it was like 3 days of microgreens though, which was way too much. Like I feel bad. Everybody says they enjoyed it. I felt bad because it's like you didn't need to listen to me talk about microgreens for 3 days straight, right? Right, and that was back when he was just like one main thing at his events. He hadn't evolved it to breaking it up to 25 different things, right?
Right.
So it literally was like, pay this much money to come listen to Jon Dowie teach you how to grow microgreens for 3 days straight. Now, if you paid attention and you were interested in it, you walked away with a fucking business class on microgreens, right? But no, I think one guy did it in Pennsylvania or something. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, K-Bonk, my friend and I were talking about, he's like, you need to get the fucking old school with the cassettes. He like Captain's Log or some shit, but like, or like the doctors used to do. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Because if I try to use a phone, I won't. If I try to use a notepad, I hate carrying shit like that around. And I sweat through it, even though I do have the waterproof ones, but whatever. And, but if I had this tacky ass little tape recorder, right, I would make it a point to use it, you know, because it'd be a thing. I'd be like, oh, I got to use that, you know? But, anyway, yeah. So the microgreens presentation's tough. And then I did like Texas Prepper 2 greenhouse builds. That was tough.
Okay.
Because you can't sit there in front of people and teach them how to do it because you're building a thing. It's like
you have to do
stand here for 6 hours while I do this thing, you know? So like I did that at Perma Ethos, and we ended up building 4 of them, and I just kind of staged them out where like one's almost done and this one's like 2/3 and so on. And it looked like I was just fucking it up because it looked like I was just slacking, you know? But I did it on purpose so people could see like, this is like a quarter of the way through. This is, you know, whatever. But it's like, you just get it was kind of pointless. You just get the plans and build it, you know? So
when I put my presentations together, I do a lot. Like, I mean, I drive. So, but usually every night when I stop in a hotel, I do the full presentation out loud with, you know, and because then, you know, what jokes hit, what jokes don't hit. The best way to edit a presentation is to do it out loud.
Like alone?
I'll do it alone or for Becky, one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've only ever just done everything off the cuff. I know that's
really,
yeah. Like that whole presentation I did at Jack's for 3 days, like 98% of it was just off the cuff. Right.
I'm like 20 hours in for each 1 hour presentation I do. It's just, I just how I've always
see. I'm a fucking slacker in a lot of ways. So
I couldn't do it.
I'm bad. I've gotten much better, obviously, running all the shit that I have to run. You can't like fucking let things lag. Like I've gotten to that point where my mindset is like, if I can do it now and get ahead, I'm going to do it right now and get ahead. You know, it's almost like a plague though now, because like I find all I do is do shit to try to get ahead, and then I don't take any time off. You know,
my problem is that so I could get up and do it, you know, of course but it's this thing where I want to be the best fucking person in the world of it. You know what I mean? Like I just have to, I can't not do it. It drives me crazy.
Whereas I'm accepted. I'm okay with just being like, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I know. And I can't like,
no, I don't really feel that way.
I know. I'm going to,
I'm bad at sit down and fucking plan.
I know.
Really bad at that. I hate it. And like I just need to do it, I guess. But that's writing comedy, right? There's only one way to do that, really. Like you got to sit down and write shit down, probably, and
write it and then practice it out loud.
Yeah, at least bullets. So I like that I could be the next Jim Brewer because I'm so tired all the time. I look high as fuck, nonstop, right? Like my eyes are always like this, so like, you know. So I could maybe steal some of his shit. Yeah, right. But he's pretty funny. I like him.
Which one's Jim Brewer? I don't know.
He's the guy that looks high.
Well, sure, but there's a lot.
He was on SNL.
Let me look him up.
I don't know how to explain him.
That's okay.
He's not like real. He's got a podcast that's pretty good. His stand-up is pretty good. It's gotten better over the years. Yeah.
Tom Segura. I've been pretty into him. I was for a bit there. I got into his.
He's got a really long head and like a beard, and he's kind of balding.
Yeah, when he was fat, he looked like me, and now he's lost a bunch of weight, so he doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably or I look like him, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably vegan. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, I saw a picture of Robert Downey Jr. yesterday, and I thought it was some other actor that's like really old whose name I'll never remember. And he looked like total shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, he's a vegan now. I'm like, knock it off, eat a steak. What's wrong with you? You know. So
Joe Rogan, Renegade Butcher, Josh, he sent me. We play this game where we send each other TikToks of like the most inappropriate or hilarious jokes we can find.
Yeah.
And he sent me one of Joe Rogan the other day, telling a story about how he was up late surfing TikTok or something, and he seen this lady. It said #vegan_cat. Oh my god, it was so funny. And I'll send it to you tonight because the poor
we call that animal abuse.
Talented. Yeah, that's what he called it too.
Absurd. I hate that. I hate all that shit. I don't know. Vegans annoy the shit out of me. I'm the guy that's like, I fucking hate them.
Let's talk about this for a minute. Okay. So a while back, Amy Dingman and I did an episode on, I guess, I don't even remember what we called it. I think it was a prepper news cycle. And it was, so the entire episode spun out of one of your Facebook comments. And the comment, what one? Oh, it was the fucking chicken feed one. And how you put something on. I was so proud of you. I mean, that's just what you do. But I was like, this is great. Because everybody was going on this whole fucking rant about how the chicken feed and, whatever, right? It was whatever the conspiracy was. I've always appreciated about you, Jon Dowie, the fact that you'll call that shit out and you'll just put it there and leave it. And I'm like, oh, he is stirring up shit today. I appreciate that.
Because I don't give a fuck. There's that. And it's because I don't have time or tolerance for bullshit. And that's like, it's all a fucking time waster, right? And it's just like sitting around trying, oh my God, you know what's wrong with my chickens? There's this grand conspiracy that they did something to the feed because they're opening egg production facilities and they want to sell more eggs.
Right.
None of that. First of all, there's zero proof in any of those statements. That's what the girl said. I watched that. I want that part of my life back.
Yeah, that video was awful.
Jake, by the way, Robinson shared to the goddamn Telegram group. And I was planting, so I clicked on it and set my phone up. And this like twitchy fucking blonde girl with too much makeup.
That's where it all started.
Who I wouldn't even clearly like think she's hot, and I wouldn't even have fucking talked to her when I ran Hooters. But anyway, so it's terrible, I know, but whatever. Get over it. So she going on and on about how she knows. I think what bothered me about it the most is she gets on there and she's like, I know why this is happening, and here's why. Like it's fact. Like I did say earlier, state everything like it's fact. But if you're fucking insane, keep it to yourself, Right. So like, then she goes through this long description of how like Purina or something has egg facilities, and because they're opening more egg facilities, that's why they fucked with the feed. Okay, listen, that doesn't prove a goddamn thing. All that proves is that this company that owns egg facilities is probably doing what they do every fucking year, which is open more egg facilities. Okay. Are you trying to tell me that they've never opened egg facilities before? So I really, what it broke down to is this. And I listened to your show that night, and I don't remember if you touched on this, but the problem is it was fucking chicken moms, right? And it was all new chicken moms from 2020. All right.
Yep.
So what, everybody here listening probably knows that chickens basically go no more eggs at 3-ish years, right?
Right.
Or at the end of 3 years. And that winter before that 3-year mark, they will not really lay eggs either, So in my experience, and I've only been raising birds for like fucking 32 years. We just figured this out the other day with my dad, right? Because I had a customer there, and they were asking me about this. And I go, look, I've been raising chickens for over 30 years. And then I was like, all right, it was 1988. So what is it now? So that's how long, and ducks, mostly ducks, actually. I know a lot about this shit. And I also can tell you there's a lot of there always has been just massive amounts of wrong bullshit when it comes to chickens and gardening, which is one of my most recent Facebook posts, which is I can't fucking deal with how much bullshit there is around chicken and gardening and bad advice. It's insane to me, and it sucks because new people eat it up. Oh my God, I heard this thing, But anyway, so you got these people that freaked out in the pandemic. And the reason I know that is because everyone was calling me in New Hampshire for fucking eggs in March when no one in New Hampshire has eggs in March. Okay.
Right.
And I'm like, we don't have eggs. It's New Hampshire and it's March. I didn't say it like this because we're talking customers, right? It was nice. But, we'll have eggs in around Easter is what I usually tell people. So that's a nice variable time frame. So anyway, Easter is a holiday that we have in the United States, but do you have that in Canada?
Sometimes, yeah. Every leap year.
Boxing Day, is that Easter? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so Boxing Day. Anyway, so now you got 3-year-old chickens, and you got winter coming, and they're going into their second molt, right?
Right.
Point in like August, right around the time they all started. My chickens stopped laying eggs sometime, and everybody said sometime between like August and October, and it's that means they're fucking molting. And then by the time they come out of the molt, so what they have it before their previous experience is this: first year bird doesn't stop laying eggs all year, pretty much, right?
Right.
Second year bird molts and lays you some eggs through the winter still. Third year bird molts and doesn't lay you a goddamn thing through the winter. That's how it always goes. So these people have 3-year-old birds now that just molted and aren't going to lay any eggs through the winter. Or maybe they'll get 2 or 3,
Yeah.
And then do you hear from them now?
No.
Exactly. Because then fucking spring came.
Right.
And all their birds started laying eggs again. And you don't hear from them now. You don't hear from them now going, oh, my chickens. If they were sitting there now going, my chickens still aren't laying eggs, I'd go, wait, maybe there's something here, But all I needed was one of them to prove anything. Like, take your fucking shitty Tractor Supply feed down to the lab. And then I had people telling me, oh, it's because they, this was the best one. Some lady that claimed to know what she was talking about, arguing with me about this on the social medias, told me that she thinks that they took out the protein and added more soy.
Oh, that's it. Yep.
Which is the fucking protein. In any standard feed, the protein is the soybeans. That's why it's in there, And I'm just like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like, get out of here with this. It's insane to me. I hate all of it. I have to dose how much I go on, because I try to do the right thing and go on Facebook and go into these like New Hampshire gardens or like whatever chicken groups or microgreens groups. And I try to select like rookies, and answer their questions as much as I can. But sometimes I just fucking can't deal with it anymore. I'm like, I can't do it today because these people are all idiots. Not the people asking the questions. It's the people answering the questions. And they're just 100% wrong most of the time, But anyway, sorry, go.
No, that's what I wanted you to talk about because it drives me nuts. And it's been something I've been trying to figure out for a while because whatever the latest fucking... So I started an app, not an app. I started a file in my notepad on my phone called Shit We're Supposed to Care About.
Yeah.
And so for the next 12 months...
I like it.
Yeah, whenever it's something we're supposed to care about, I write it in my phone. And at the end of the year, I'm going to go back through and I'm going to be like, oh, hey, do you remember eggs? Do you remember the balloon? Do you remember Bud Light? All that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But whatever the issue is right now is the one we're not allowed to talk about. We're allowed to talk about it as long as we're going along with it. But as soon as you question the fact that it is fucking, not a conspiracy, it might just be something fucking stupid, then you can't, But whatever's come before, You can discredit all you want. It's just the one right now that you can't talk about.
I muted myself so I wouldn't interrupt.
That's okay.
Yeah, I gotta get out of the habit of going in the middle of what you're talking about. So I think it ruins a live stream, and I do it all the time. Well, I just and then you should at the same time, you should simultaneously underneath it, you should write a little footnote of the shit that people should be paying attention to. Like the war criminal in chief just fucking vaporized some poor bricklayer in Syria because they claimed they killed a terrorist leader, you know?
Really?
Father of 10, bricklayer, 70 or something, old, right? Drone strike because he was a super terrorist or some shit. And then now they're walking, we made a mistake. Oopsie. And it's like, that's not enough. You fucking killed some guy with 10 kids. You piece of shit. Look, Joe Biden, I understand that you like kids a different way, but, come on. This is ridiculous. You should do that. You should write down a little footnote.
I will.
Maybe I would. You gotta go find it though, and you'll drive yourself insane following the news like that. So maybe don't.
That's the thing. Yeah, my favorite example was last summer when we were all going to lose power because the big brownouts. Do you remember that scary map that said?
Yeah. You had a show about that.
I did because I called the bullshit out on it. I'm like, no, we need to talk about this. And it wasn't anything. It was a nothing burger in the words of Stephen Harris.
Yeah, I never even had, actually, I did have more power outages at my grow room this year than I ever had, which could have been a whole conversation of this show, but it's probably getting a little too late on that. But so right now, this is my 5 days ago. Hey, public service announcement. Hey, Republicans. Yes. 15 days until you shift your outrage from immigration to Pride Month.
I saw that post was fucking golden when I saw that. Yeah.
And then, hey, Democrats. Prepare to switch from everyone who disagrees with me is a racist to everyone who disagrees with me is a homophobe, because they need to be put on alert too, because they're going to have to switch their weird accusations. Right? It's that all the time. It's insane. Like I still drink Mick Ultra.
Sure, whatever.
I know that's an InBev product. I don't like InBev. InBev can fuck off. But no one else makes a good low carb beer that's available. Like where I go, like in general. Last night I'm at this place. They didn't have. It's an Irish pub. Hey, how many low carb beers do you guys have? It's like, fuck you and drink a Guinness. So it's like, do you have Chick Ultra? Yes. Okay, thank you. We're good. But I don't like to drink it. I just have to. If I'm gonna drink. So I don't. It's
that's the one now.
It matters because it's circle of influence, circle of concern, right?
That's it.
There are some concerns I have about some of this stuff. But it doesn't fucking matter because there's nothing I can do about it, No. And I get a lot of customers that are they're normal. So the customers I get that buy microgreens they're usually fine, but some of them can be insane. Sure. And then the customers I get that buy barrels are generally dudes that are in the middle of a project, which is nice because I could be like, oh, what are you doing with it? And then it's a good conversation. But sometimes I get them that want to talk politics, right? And I just go, look, see this property line? This is all I give a shit about. This, I can control everything here. I don't care about what the fuck goes on outside this property line. I have friends that run for state office and friends that run for local office or whatever, and I'll go down and I'll vote for them because I like them. I generally don't even vote the federal lines. I just don't. I did vote for Donald Trump the last time because fucking Facebook kept telling me not to. I was just like, I'm doing this. Fuck you. Didn't matter, but whatever. So demonstrably why none of it, matters. So, I mean, it was a mess, but I don't know how anybody can watch a girl on TikTok just to get back to the chicken thing. It clearly has no fucking idea what she's talking about, talk about the chicken feed thing. It's insane. So here was my other part though, with that. When I was a kid, we raised chickens and ducks, mostly ducks. Okay. And we got plenty of eggs out of them. I never counted like I did when it was a business as an adult. Okay. But I know there were eggs, there were eggs. Right. And I maybe had 20-ish ducks, maybe 30. Right. And we would get 18 eggs a day kind of thing. It was a lot of eggs. It was a normal amount of eggs as far as I can remember back. Right.
Sure.
We fed them straight cracked corn and that is it.
Right.
Okay. I didn't know what commercial feed was until I was 28, something like that. When I bought this house, right? And we got back. So I have a gap in there where I didn't have any birds when I lived in an apartment and shit. But when I got back into chickens and I went to the feed store to buy cracked corn, they were like, do you want poultry feed? And I was like, hey, yeah, I want cracked corn. And they're like, no, do you want poultry feed? I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that is. So like, maybe it was a thing in the 80s. I don't know. But like, we never bought it. We bought cracked corn. We bought 50-pound bags of cracked corn and we dumped them into a barrel and it made your hands feel soft. And then you dump it, and they'd eat it. And they laid fucking plenty of eggs. And I just like, it's insane to think that chickens can literally eat shit and lay eggs and corn, or, at a normal rate. And ducks need more protein, by the way. So like, how do you fucking think they tainted they would have literally had to poison the feed essentially, right? To make they would have to use some weird toxin or chemical.
Oh yeah.
That would make some chicken birth control, right? In the feed to make them stop laying eggs for a short period of time. What's the point there? So let's question that now. Like, why would they only do it for a short period of time then? Right?
Oh, because everybody got wise to it. That's why.
Okay, yeah. Because the big corporations suddenly gave a fuck about public opinion because we know that's a thing. So like, it's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, and it drove me nuts. Like in the beginning, what are you people talking about? And then I needed it to go away because it was nonstop. That's the other part is it's not. The Dylan Mulvaney thing is still fucking nuts.
Oh, fuck. I know. It literally.
They sent the guy a 12-pack. Like, okay, I don't care. Like, why the fuck would I care? First of all, if you're drinking Bud Light, you got to evaluate some shit in your life anyway, unless you're like, look, if you can't drink real good beer for health purposes, you're drinking Mick Ultra. Okay. Bud Light's not the fucking way to go with that anyway. So like, if you're drinking Bud Light, it's just because you have fucking shitty taste. Okay.
The whole thing of this, like, it's like an earworm, right? So when we get in the car, when Becky and I go for a long drive, I want to put it on lithium or turbo. So that's like 90s grunge or 90s 2000s rock.
Sirius? You have Sirius?
Yeah.
Okay.
She wants to put it on whatever the latest pop thing is.
Ugh.
And there'll be like one banger for 9 fucking songs that literally make my skin crawl. So, I just used literally. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. So I feel it inside me. Like it's physically uncomfortable to listen to this music. And that's how I feel about these earwormy things where people just keep beating you over the head with it. And it's, could you just fucking leave it alone? I don't care. Like,
And once again, let's say dumb blonde girl's, let's say she's 100% right. Okay. What the fuck are you going to do about it?
Right. That's what it comes down to.
And then all these people always switch feed and they started laying. Yes, because you shocked their fucking system in the middle of the winter. And now they're going to lay eggs for 3-4 days. They're going to stop again.
Yeah.
That's how that works. Everybody has the old wives' tale about how to get your chickens to lay eggs again. Oh, feed them warm rice. If you feed them cabbage. If you feed them this. If you feed them that. Blah, 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 blah. It's all great because it shocks them into laying eggs for like a week. And then they stop again. It's just the way it goes. And why are you pushing your birds to lay eggs in the off season anyway? Knock it off. You're not a goddamn factory farm.
They only have so many eggs in them from when they're born anyway, right?
Yeah. So, and most of these people aren't going to slaughter. So what's the rush? I
can tell you something funny here. So the other day, you were talking about how it's time for the Republicans and the Democrats to switch topics.
Yeah, outrage.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love being the voluntarist or the anarchist in the middle. It's really a lot of fun.
Because you get to shit talk both of them.
Oh, the other day. So my wife she goes and gets massages once a week or once every 2 weeks, something like that. Helps her back. So she finally talked me into going. And I went, this dude's cool. The problem with it is they talk, just constantly, right? You got an hour where you're there and it's just making conversation. So I'm like, I'm going to have some fun. And dude's an awesome guy and he's a vegan. And I'm like, I bet I know where this is. So I start, kind of chatting and I'm like, I need to, I'm like, I'm really pro-choice, right? And I kind of just leave it there. And he's, oh yeah. I said, I'm just totally 100% in favor of a person looking after their own body, doing what they want, putting the food in it they want. I said, even for a woman, abortion, whatever you want. I know some people don't like it, but I'm cool with somebody making their own choice. He's like, yeah, me too. I said, and totally the same way with gun rights too. I said, everybody should have the right. And he's like, oh my God. I was like, yes.
Especially in Canada.
Because it bugs me. I love to try to play with people and make them see it, and then fucking twist their head on it. Like,
Yeah.
you can't have your cake and eat it too.
I've stopped referring to it as gun rights and started
Sure.
referring to it as the right to self-defense.
I like
because they want to argue on they always want to, the other side, they always want to argue on their terms and their definitions and whatever their narrative is. And they almost always win at that these days. Well, they're starting to lose those more. But so I refuse to argue on their fucking stupid grounds. So one thing in the U.S. where the biggest con is the con in the Constitution. Who is that? That was John Bush or something. Anyway, so I think it was him. Or it could have been the guy in Florida, the punk rock guy that I like. Whatever. Anyway, so one thing that's interesting when people are like, we shouldn't be allowed to have this, that, whatever, right? And I always just go, what other natural rights would you like to arbitrarily restrict? You know, would you like to also arbitrarily restrict? Usually I can say the word freedom of speech also. So would you like to just be able to decide what people can and can't say? Would you like to be able to decide when people have the right to privacy or not then? Would you like to do it that way? Would you like to just decide that randomly we can quarter soldiers in people's homes, like just based on your fucking whims? So why are we debating the right to self-defense? It just makes no goddamn sense, right? Then my next part of that is they want to argue, like they'll want to talk about the Constitution. And then that's when I just say, look, people are born with natural rights. I don't give a fuck what they wrote in the Constitution. I have the right to self-defense, and I have the right to decide how that self-defense is going to be executed.
That's exactly. I got into this with a Canadian the other day about that. And they go, well, you know, this isn't in our, we don't have a Constitution. We have something else. I said, yeah, but here's the difference. You know, I talk about my American friends having inalienable rights. Yeah. And that basically means God-given, or whatever your belief is you born as a human have those. Yeah. The only reason they wrote them down is so people won't fucking tread on them. Yeah. And I said, we can believe that too. You know, might put us in jail eventually, but yeah.
If you know anything about the Constitution, you know that we believe that for you.
Right. Yes.
Because it doesn't say American citizens anywhere in there when it talks about, all men were created equal or born with these certain inalienable rights. It doesn't say Americans were born with these certain inalienable rights. It says all fucking men. Imaginary lines don't apply, you know?
You just wrote it down. It's the same as somebody discovering if I take 2 rocks and put 2 more rocks together, I now have 4 rocks. Well, that's true. But if I write it on a piece of paper, you didn't make it any more true. It just exists. Yeah. You just wrote it down and defined it, you know?
Yeah. You wrote down 2 + 2 = 4. Congratulations.
So the language thing really bugs me. And I kind of, the whole trans thing, there's huge fights over the definition of words. And I really think what ends up happening with a lot of people is each person comes at it with a different definition of the same fucking word. Yeah. And they just fight at each other instead of sitting down and saying, hey, why don't we, what's the word for it? Why don't we discuss this and actually kind of figure out what you mean by this, what I mean by this. Yep. Because if I say to you, you know what I believe that you shouldn't steal my shit and you shouldn't hurt me. Almost everybody will say, yeah, I believe that. Or I believe everybody has the right to do what they want as long as they don't hurt anyone else. That's a really good jumping off point for everybody to agree. It's all this other shit that people get bent out of shape over that they spend all their time fucking arguing about that doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, there's my hobby horse for the evening.
Yeah, the issue I find with like the what'd you just say?
Language,
and then oh my god, don't take people's stuff and don't hurt them, right? The non-aggression principle,
sure,
is that then people will start to interpret that.
Right. And then
letting it the fuck out. Yeah.
Do you remember fucking Dude, Where's My Car?
No, I don't, but I did watch it, but I don't remember it.
Chinese food. They're going through the drive-through. She keeps saying and then every time
and they're like, no and then. Is that movie?
Yeah, no and then. Okay. That's the non-aggression principle because everybody wants to keep going and then. Yeah. No and then.
Well, like they want to argue like when they pass an infrastructure bill up here, they want to like argue what is infrastructure and they'll like fucking make it everything. And I understand how you can make that argument, right?
Yes.
But it doesn't matter because it's all stolen money in the first place. So, it's so simple. I just don't. But somebody in here mentioned that this, no matter what laws get passed, they'll still keep and bear arms. Yes. Like, so I get the people to show up to the house and they'll say like, well, they're going to come take your guns. And I'm like, good fucking luck. Because that's never happening. You know, like they can pass all the laws they want. I'm just not going to pay any fucking attention to them. You know,
when it comes down to it, here we go. We fucking ran all the way around tonight making jokes about a fucking brick. And here we are talking serious. But when it comes down to it, everybody has to have that line that's it. It's the line, you know, and if it gets trespassed on, heaven help whoever gets trespassed on, because that's the problem. Right. And again, that's the beauty of anarchism is that everybody has their own personal line, and it's cool because you can fucking believe whatever you want. I can believe whatever I want. And there's a lot of anarchists who get bent out of shape about people believing shit that doesn't agree with them, that maybe they're not really an anarchist. I don't know.
There's a lot of, I wouldn't say the anarchists, but
small L libertarians
that don't fucking understand what it means because they became libertarians because they think because Trump was elected and they think the word liberty is cool.
Yes.
And they started calling themselves libertarians, and they ruined a lot of that because now when you talk to somebody who doesn't know what's going on, they're like, oh, libertarians, you're just Trumpers. And it's like, no, there's just a lot of fucking stupid Trumpers that call themselves that because they think the word liberty is cool and the flag with the snake, you know? And they have no, like, you ask them, hey, explain the non-aggression principle to me. And they're like, the what now? They have no fucking idea what it is. And like, that's the basis, dude. Like, if you don't know that, you can't use the word, you know, like, stop it. And they want to argue about the tranny thing and all that. And it's like, look, I don't give a shit what an adult does.
Right.
At all.
I don't either.
I think the reality is it's more men than women doing the transvestite thing.
Probably.
This is my theory. Right.
I have a theory too.
I can't prove that. I think it's because men are fucking perverts, you know. We're way more sexual than women when it comes to, you know, that. And men, I think, some men get off on it, right? So like they dress up like a woman and they go out and they want whatever's going on in their head. So I don't give a shit. Do what you got to do. I've known transvestites, good people, whatever. You know, I think they have problems. I think they probably should seek help, but I didn't have anything personally wrong with them. And just because somebody might need some help doesn't mean I hate them.
Right.
So like,
and you're not going to send people with guns after them because of it.
No, absolutely not. But here's the but, right? And this is what seems to keep happening, where I think provocateurs push the line. And I don't think I think that your average cross-dresser, whatever we're calling it today, or gay person or whatever, fucking hates everything that's going on right now too, because I don't think they agree with it, you know? So like, let's exclude 99% of the people that are in those categories, right? Because they probably also hate what's going on, because they're being exploited to divide the masses, which is fucked up. But if you're a dude, if you have a dick or don't care.
Right.
And my wife's in the bathroom and you go in there, we got fucking problems.
Sure.
And you're a dude. Okay. We're done here. Like, I don't know what the dilemmas are, you know? If you're a woman that dresses like a man, it's all irrelevant because they don't have that power. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, they don't have the physical power probably. So to me, all that's like, whatever, you know, like, I'm just like, I'll handle that if it happens in front of me because I'm a man and I will.
But you know what?
Things,
okay. That's the same old okay. You remember back when abortion was the big thing and everybody said, well, what about, you know, it was always,
the little exceptions.
Well, let's deal with them on an individual basis when it happens. Just fucking let everything else, let people be exactly what you are, you know, like, here's my theory. I'll put it out there since we've been talking about it. But when you were in high school, when we were in high school, the edgy thing for a guy mainly girls to do was to go by their middle name. Remember? So if you were like, I don't know, she was, you know, Kim and her middle name was Sally. She's like, I'm going to be Sally from now on. And that's my new identity. Right.
Okay.
And that was just something that a teenager did. And then when my older kids were in school, some people are going to hate me for this, but some people would experiment with the other sex, right? That was just something they did. Now, a small percentage stayed there. Lots of them didn't. It was a phase. It was something they did.
That got popular when I was in college.
Right, exactly. Yes,
one
that was
for one
yeah,
year in 1998, late 90s.
early
It got
2000s.
popular, and then I'm
Yeah.
sure it grew. And I always just described it as they're trying it on,
Sure.
you know. But
I
it used to annoy me because like I knew gay people that got their fucking ass kicked back in the day. For
I
being
know.
gay. And it's like, hey, don't go running around telling people you're gay if you're just not sure.
Right.
Like, because there's people that really took a fucking hit for that kind of thing. And regardless of how you feel about it, like they're doing their own thing, fine. But there's people that like fought the real battle on that ground, and now you're just like, oh yeah, me, you know, I am too. And then 2 fucking years later, they're not, you know, and that
Teenagers, though.
anyway.
We all,
But
yeah.
I worked in a lot of restaurants. So you see a lot of this shit in restaurants.
Sure. But that's the thing with teenagers in general was you go through phases because you don't know who the fuck you are. You try to figure life out and give them some freedom to, you know, kind of breathe and live and realize, you know, I mean, at my kids' school, there's been some kids already who've been like, hey, guess what? I'm a boy now. 3 months later, guess what? They're back to being a girl now.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a phase. And
ignore it.
Just let it be.
That's what they did when I was a kid. Ignore it. Okay.
Right.
And it worked. They worked their own shit out. I mean, maybe, you know, don't fucking totally ignore them.
Right. No.
Like when the little kid grabs the little boy, plays with the fucking dolls and brushes their hair, they're playing with a toy. Like you just ignore it.
Whatever.
I think that most people in our world people in our world need to be careful of the overreaction on stuff like that. Right. And I catch myself. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, I don't know. Like one of my kids learned all his colors. Right. And he says pink. It was one of the first colors he learned, pink. And I'm just like, oh, no, calm down, John. Not a big deal. You know, I didn't say anything, but my initial reaction was, because all this stupid shit going on, you know?
But also, that has probably to do with the generation we grew up in as well.
Yeah, 100%. Because we were very like, you're this or you're that.
Yeah, you know?
You know? And if you're in between, you're a pussy.
Right. Or other words that I won't say out loud on the internet anymore.
So, like, we got to be careful not to react. And I think a lot of your standard Republicans do that a lot.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, it's nuts, but we were just ignored. I mean, there was a time when I was like, I think I was like 16 maybe. And I sat there for like 3 minutes and I went, I wonder if I'm gay.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I thought about curling up in bed next to some dude's hairy ass. And I went, nope, not gay, and moved the fuck on. Now I get that some people may be differently motivated, you know, but like, okay. It's just, I mean, but we had like the percentages it is social contagion. I'll give them that. Like the right to talk about that. And they're probably right about, especially with girls. That's where the problem comes in with girls. Like, I know I said that most adult cross dressers or whatever we're calling that are men. Okay. That's probably true. I think a lot of on the younger side, like under 20, I think it's majority women. Okay. Cause the TikTok fucking, if they see it, they want to fit in, you know, and like teenage girls just always want to fit in. So like, if that's what the thing is to fit in, they're going to do the thing to fit in. And that's the thing. So there you go. But
same reason
ignore it. And like, thank God, there's been a lot of weird shit coming out about the medical community. There's actually been some whistleblower type doctors coming out going, this is fucked up. They're just profiting off these people.
Yes.
You know, and that I believe 100%. Like right in the beginning, I was like, this is just a way for them to sell more shit, you know? And like, I don't know if we've done the diabetes story talk, but I have fucking zero confidence and zero trust in the capabilities or ethics of the medical industry as a whole.
Sure.
Like absolutely none. Like I was fucking misdiagnosed for 10 years, even though I sat there telling them what it was, you know, and now I have permanent nerve damage. So they can all fuck right off, you know? And then it's so like when I can see it now because it's pattern recognition after a while, you can see it, you know, and it's all just one complex with the ag, you know,
right.
The food, the drugs, and the fucking medical field. It's all the same thing. It's all just one big, let's make a whole bunch of money.
It's a big system that's all spun the fuck up. And every system wants to protect. I mean, whatever living entity it is, the last thing you want to do is die, right? So it's like Kodak, as Kodak was dying, instead of embracing fucking digital technology, they put out a new film because that's the only thing they know how to do, right?
Yeah.
And so these systems, they get spun up and they want to just keep living, and they do whatever they can. And here's the other thing. I don't know if it's done out of malice, if it's done out of self-preservation, or if it's just like, I don't know. I don't know if it even matters. The fact that it just happens, it happens.
You and me,
right?
It doesn't matter. To people that want solutions, it doesn't matter because you're not going to stop it.
No.
I do think it's malice at the top 100% of the way. Like, I think it's all fucking malice at the top. I think down through the ranks, I don't believe it's malice. Like, I have a primary care physician that I really like, but he's very standard bullshit medical, right?
Sure.
Now, I'm smart enough to know how to manipulate that for my own good. Right?
Yes, I understand completely.
Because I've been through the shit, right?
Right.
If I had him as a doctor 20 years ago, he would have been a huge fucking problem for me. Maybe. Because he would, maybe not actually, because he'll just do whatever I tell him. So maybe he was the guy I needed in the beginning when I went, dude, I think I'm a type 1 diabetic. Can you run a test? And he would have been like, fuck yeah, I'll order it. Maybe he would have been that guy. But he's the guy that's like, I walked in and I went, dude, I eat 8 ounces of ground beef a day and a cup of broccoli, and I fast all day, and I have heavy cream in my coffee in the morning. And my A1C is excellent, and I don't take a lot of insulin, and I cannot lose 1 pound, right? And he's like, oh, do you want Ozempic? Like instantly. And I'm like, fuck no, I don't want that. Are you insane? Because I've done my research on that too, because I know what's available to me drug-wise, right, to try to lose weight. And I know which ones may or may not have long-term side effects. And I have tried a couple to try to push it over the plateau, and they didn't work anyway. Because most of them are just an appetite suppressant.
Right.
You don't need a fucking appetite suppressant if you're fasting all day anyway and eating 8 ounces of ground beef and a cup of broccoli every day. You don't need to suppress a goddamn thing at that point. So, like, pointless for me, And I'm sure we're going to see during Maury Povich, if he's still alive, we'll see the fucking commercials, with the lawsuits in 10 years for Ozempic,
You're right.
So, because that's probably the other part of that whole thing, though, is those lawyers. But,
How do you decide? So, okay. I mean, here's the one that I love. I mean, we all know keto fucking works.
Yeah.
But most, like 95% of the established medical community says that is the wrong way to go, right? So we know, I through personal experience, we know we're right on this, right?
Yeah.
So how does one decide that you're right on something and you're not just fucking deluded yourself? I've been struggling with that lately.
Yeah, I think you have to, I think you have to think about that to keep yourself in check, right? If you're not doing that, you're not being honest with yourself, right? You have to doubt everything you think you know.
Right.
For sure, And I do it. Sometimes I go, I wonder if I should work in more X, Y, and Z, right?
Yes.
But see, I have the superpower of not producing insulin. So, sure. And I have this thing attached to my body. It's actually a little high right now, but I have this thing telling me what my fucking blood sugar is 24/7. And I can tell you exactly what any food does to you because of that. You know what I mean? So I can tell you that when I eat high protein, low fat meat, I get a very long lasting increase in blood sugar. Sure. It's actually somewhat difficult to control because protein slowly converts to glucose. Everything converts to glucose.
Yes.
But protein does it a little faster than fat, slower than carbs, but over a long span. And if it's a lot of just protein, like say 8 or 10 ounces of something, and it's lean meat, like chicken, right? I get the fuck you for like 6 hours. I know how to control it, so I'm okay. But like, I know it's there, right? If I eat a ribeye and broccoli cooked in,
butter,
tallow.
Oh, okay.
With a homemade cheese sauce. That's basically an Alfredo sauce made with cheddar. Right. That's like the majority of my diet. I don't get a spike in blood sugar. And I get a very easily controlled rise, right? Because you're going to have a rise, right? If I eat a sweet potato with that meal, I'm fucked. So right up to the roof, right? If I eat a real potato with that meal, I'll fucking see you in 3 days because like I'm going to be in a coma, right? So I can tell you when like when people tell you you have to mix in more healthy carbs, they're fucking full of shit. That's wrong, right? Because I know exactly what the glucose or the insulin response is to that, and insulinemia is not a good thing, you know. So like pumping your body full of your own insulin is just as bad as your shitty diabetics that eat donuts all day and just blow fucking insulin into themselves. So like I have that. I'm not. I know that's not absolute proof, you know, but
Nope.
I have that thing. And like I have people in TSP land, like Jake will ask me, hey, can you try when monk fruit was a thing? It came out as a big thing, right? It was new. And they were like, hey, well, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know. Let me get some, see where it goes, you know? And I got some monk fruit sweetener, and I took some super high fat yogurt and I added some like vanilla extract to it and some monk fruit, and I ate it, and it didn't raise my blood sugar any more than just regular yogurt would. And I was fasting.
Wow.
And good to go. Monk fruit's great. Doesn't have a glucose response at all. And by the way, the stuff about people are like, oh, anytime you eat anything sweet, it triggers a glucose response. That's fucking bullshit. It's like I drink diet Dr. Pepper all day.
Yeah.
Be blowing insulin into me nonstop if that triggered an insulin spike, you know what I mean, or whatever. It triggered a liver dump of glucose. You know, that's what they're saying. So that's not true. So a lot of these artificial sweeteners. There's a good channel, Keto Connect or something. It's a husband and wife, and they do that. They do like they're not diabetic, but they have glucose monitors and stuff, and they did all the artificial sweeteners. And I think the only bad one was like maltitol, so it's easy to remember because mal means bad. So avoid maltitol, I guess. I've never seen it, so I don't know.
So how do you? So okay, like every one of us have seen the realistic or the real world results from keto, and we know it works. I mean, it's hard to argue with any of these, right? Yeah. But how do you separate that from chicken feed? You know, you know what I mean? Like, how do you make sure you don't fall for fucking, you know, there's gay frogs or drugs in the chicken feed, you know, like because for me,
so before I knew I was type 1 diabetic, I was I was diagnosed type 2. I lost 120 pounds, right? And I did it by doing the paleo diet, right? Whatever we were calling it then. And 2008 or something. I don't know. It was a while ago. And I did it by doing that. And while I was doing that, now this is all just more, you know, I'm not a fucking scientist.
Sure.
So it's all just whatever, you know, anecdotal.
Yeah.
So my grandfather was in excellent shape, right? And he ate a lot of ribeyes and a lot of bacon and eggs and a lot of pea soup, which I don't eat. But and he was in great shape. You know, he died from prostate cancer. He was like 88 or some shit, right? And he died from prostate cancer before they caught that, you know, like before they were like, oh my God, you have prostate cancer. Let's just do this one thing to cure you. You know, he died in like 1984 or something. So I remember my memories of him are he's excellent shape in his 80s, right? Then the other men in my family eat like fucking assholes, and they're fat and they're always out of shape. Right.
Right.
And I was raised more with that. Right. And I see people in my family, blood related to me, that eat wheat and they're super horribly inflamed. You can tell. And I know because I ate this way for 30 years, right. Basically. And then stopped. So I did it this way and then I didn't do it that way. And holy shit, the results are insane. Like you're describing, but I have I have 14-ish years of that. 12, 14, what year is it? 2020, what? 3?
Yeah, 15 years.
I have 11 years of eating low carb almost all the time, at least low carb. And I don't call it keto. We have to be careful. Like it's only keto if you're counting shit. Okay.
Right.
It's only keto if you're like, I'm counting all my macros all the time.
You don't really need
a low carb, high fat diet if you're not counting, right? I get that's another like put that on my list of shit I bitch about. But like, so I don't eat keto, I eat low carb, high fat, you know? But so I don't know. Like I do think about it. Am I wrong? Right. But the times that I've tried, like I've had doctors say you need to eat more healthy carbs. I try to work shit like that in and it destroys my blood sugar. And when I have high blood sugar, I get neuropathy, inflammation. I can't really walk. And I get really, really, really sluggish and tired and I fatigued and like overall, like the definition of that word fatigue, the real one, you know?
Yeah.
And I can't perform and I have to perform, you know? So there's no time for not performing. So like, yes, K-Bonk, I do react differently. Not to different pork from pork. Who's he asking? Do I react differently?
React differently from pork products.
Pork does. I don't do well with pork or chicken, and I think there's a amino acid in it that I can't remember the name of that kind of bothers me. I do best with beef. I saw Nicole Sauce talking about that today on social media. I do. I feel like if I'm having a bad few days, not feeling great, and eating a lot of hot dogs out of the microwave, and like I do that a lot.
I understand.
Because I'm here working nonstop. Put the hot dogs in the microwave. Put some shitty sliced American cheese on it and some ketchup and fucking call it a day, right? There's my one vice, ketchup.
I love fucking American cheese. Oh my God.
Dude, sliced shit American cheese. It's such dog shit, but it's so good. So pork, I just bought a half pig this year. And I have noticed that like I don't feel so when you're me and you do what I do, you're super fucking in tune with how everything affects you, right?
Sure.
Pork I don't do as well with, just like I don't do as well with chicken. It doesn't make me worse. It just won't make me better. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Beef will fucking cure me.
Oh, beef, I know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Broccoli, I do great with broccoli. I do great with Brussels sprouts. I do great with asparagus and green beans. And that's another thing I hate is when people keep saying that one phrase over and over to make a point. I do great with. I hate it. I just did it. Anyway, so like those 4 vegetables I do fantastic with. I can't eat fucking cauliflower or cabbage in bulk because it just cauliflower is the one. The cauliflower pizza crust idea.
Oh yeah,
it's delicious. Yeah. Someone might as well be twisting the shit out of my stomach when I eat that. It's so bad.
Cabbage does
so good. So I found recently that I do have some negative reactions to dairy, which is a real fucking bummer because I can't give up another thing. So I still do heavy cream. I did cut out yogurt as a dessert, and I just cut out desserts. I've done like almost 3 months, I want to say, or maybe what is it? The end of May? Jesus Christ, 4.5 months of really clean, like literally like I eat when I'm hungry, but generally it's once a day, right? So if I get hungry at 4, I will eat. I don't go no. And when I say clean, I mean like hot dogs are, there's nothing, ask Ken Berry, there's nothing wrong with hot dogs. So, all right. So I'll do that. Like if I'm on the road and I need to eat something, right? I'll hit a 7-Eleven, just get a couple beef hot dogs. Just there you go.
Yeah.
Done. Good to go. Back out the door. Right. And then 1 meal a day at the end of the day, super clean beef, vegetables, sometimes not even the vegetable, right? Or meat, vegetable.
Oh,
that's it. And then coffee with heavy cream, no more than 2 cups a day for me because I get super dehydrated. I drink fucking diet soda. It's the worst thing I do. But no desserts now at all, really, for like 3 months at least, maybe 4, right? And I mean, like one night I had some fucking yogurt and I wanted to kill myself the next day. I felt like shit. It's like when someone's just doing regular paleo and then they have their cheat day and eat a whole pizza and a quart of ice cream and they want to die.
Oh, yes. That's like
it was
when we go to the city.
It was that for 1 cup of yogurt. Like good whole fat Greek yogurt, So like I've super cleaned my diet up and I've definitely felt the results in energy. But right now I'm in this spot business-wise where I have to perform. There's no such thing as a day down, right? So like I have to just keep it going. I just got to keep the fire stoked and that's that. So like, I'm trying to do some things. I'm trying to accomplish some shit. We should have got into this 3 hours ago.
I know. So, okay. We really should wrap it up. We've been 2 hours.
What time is it?
So it's
2 hours and 15 minutes. I'll do another 45 if you want. I don't give a fuck.
Okay. Do you remember when you were on? So I looked it up. It was fucking episode like 74 last time you were on.
Yeah.
We're episode 311. So
it's a while ago. I'm going to listen and turn my fan on while you talk.
Sure.
Go ahead. Keep talking.
It's been like a year and a half. And I keep saying every time you and I get on a show together and talk, it's fucking magic. I know neither of us could probably ever commit to doing a weekly show, you and I together, but fuck, I would love to do that. Because if we just did 2 hours of fucking rambling talk radio once a week or once a month, it'd be fucking awesome. Yeah. But I know we're both so fucking busy.
I'm supposed to do a weekly show with Drew Sample every week about microgreens. It hasn't happened in over a year.
I know.
And then I was like, I really need to get back on YouTube and do some videos. And I did a couple, like, just quick. I decided to get back to the roots on that, where I used to just say, fuck it. Oh, there's this thing happening. I'm going to grab my phone. I'm going to shoot a video, talk about it. No production whatsoever. Put it up. Right.
Right.
I don't even really go back and do the things I should do, like put my stupid Amazon thing in there. Like, I do that way later, when the luster's off.
Yeah.
So, and I immediately got orders for flats because I sell microgreens trays online. And when I was doing more YouTube, I got more orders, obviously, right? Because there was more attention to the channel. And I immediately sold like 2 cases or something, whatever. I made like $50 or some shit. I don't like, I'm taking insulin. Hang on.
No, it's fine.
So, do you want some?
Heroin?
So, yeah, no, I love it. I pull this out. I pull this out anywhere. I don't give a shit. I'm just like, I got to shoot up. You want some? So, yeah, I have to put it in my meter so I don't double shoot later. That's bad because then I'd have to eat a candy bar. I'm looking at a whole box of Kit Kats above me. Anyway, so fuck, were we? Where was? Yeah, once a week or whatever. Yeah. Once a month, once a week, whatever you just said. Yeah. I would love to commit to this stuff, but that's where I'm at right now. Is like,
okay.
So I have a 2-year-old.
I know,
and I have one fucking mission in life. And I don't care about anything else. And that is make him awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Make him as smart as I possibly can. Make him smarter than me, and that's it. And I, it's not a parent world where I'm like, he needs to have all the things I didn't have. Fuck all that shit. I don't care about any of that. I want him to just be smarter than me. So anything I see him doing that's like productive, he loves to go, he likes to play outside a lot, but he wanted to go out the fucking front door all the time where the road is. And we have a big backyard. And I'm like, he likes to go to the playground and swing. So I'm like, I'm fucking building him a swing set. Right. Now that would have been spoiled as rotten for me when I was a kid. Right.
Sure.
If we had a swing set, holy shit, that would have been like the biggest thing that ever happened in my life. But I'm like, no, fuck that. That's productive. I want him to be outside. I want him, burning energy off and being out. I just want him to be outside, So I built a swing set over the weekend with my dad. It was great, right? He's 80. And he was visiting for Mother's Day with my mom, and we built the swing set for Alex. It was nice. But I have one mission, and that's that he needs to learn stuff. I'm trying to he's going to homeschool, obviously. He's got he's 23 months now. He'll be a year old or 2 years old in about a month. He's got almost his whole alphabet down. He can count to 20. He can count from 10 to 1 backwards. His vocabulary is enormous. He knows all his colors, all his fruits, all that shit, right? I think we're pretty far ahead of the game as far as the goal goes, right? That's the goal. So like yesterday, I needed to come here to the grow room and I needed to plant 150 trays of microgreens so we could stay caught up, right? That happens 2 or 3 days a week.
I know. Yeah.
Barrels are happening. It's May. It's fucking rain barrels. It's planters. It's all the stuff. Deliveries are happening. Pickups are happening from the opportunity, whatever, right? I'm trying to make picnic tables to sell. I'm trying to make docks to sell. We got to plant our gardens. Some are production gardens. Some are just for us. All this shit's happening. So this is where I fucked myself up. This used to be what I would do and it wasn't a problem. Now I need to adjust, right? I went into a restaurant on Friday. He clearly forgot to order micro beets because he was out. And I go, hey man, you forget to order micro beets or what do you got going on? And he's like, oh, I fucking forgot. And I'm like, I can bring a pound tomorrow. Okay. Now in the past, that would have been excellent. Like cool, $80 or something, whatever. It's 40 minutes away, which sucks, but it's good to keep that relationship with your customer, obviously, So, but I could have sent her, deliver it, or I could have delivered it and it would have been a big deal because we didn't have all this other shit going on. New World, though, is different. So it was raining like a bastard yesterday, right? And she was like, I can go. And I was like, yep, all right, it's ready. It's here if you want to come get it. And then I stopped myself and I went, nope. I don't want her taking my kid, throwing him in the car, putting fucking video on the tablet because that's,
yeah,
too. We don't do it right away, but at the 2-hour mark, you know what I mean? He starts to
I understand. Yeah.
So like we put him in the car, we don't do that. And then at like an hour and a half, when he starts to be like fucking him, then we'll put something on that's educational, it's some Canadian broad, Caitlin or something. Anyway, I know she's excellent. So I just thought you'd like that she's Canadian.
Sure. I don't like Canadians. It's okay.
So we'll put that on, whatever, right? Okay, great. But then I stopped myself and I went, I don't want her to do it. And then I didn't realize how bad it was raining. And I just called her and I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take care of it. You stay there. But I've got 8 hours of planting too. And now it's 3:00 in the afternoon. You know what I mean? I also wanted to go to this thing last night, and that's where I fucked up. I shouldn't have gone to the thing. But anyway, so I drive the thing down, and then I also need to buy a rolling tool cart for here. And I stopped at Lowe's on the way back. I just over and over and over trapped myself with stupid shit. You know what I mean?
I know. I get you.
In the first place. I should have just moved on and said, fuck it. The $80 is the $80, whatever. I don't care, you know? Anyway, I ended up not doing 70% of the planting. And now I have to do it tonight. And the whole point of this was I was really week after week here, I'm busting ass trying to get 1 day off to spend with my kid.
Right.
That's it, right? And it never happens, by the way. I get about an hour with him in the morning. I get an hour with him at night, and that's it. And he's a late riser, so he stays up wicked fucking late. I think it's because he knows I'm coming home, though. That's not good. So, like, I get like 2 hours I see him, you know? And then I'm like, I need a day off to have a family day because that's another obligation. In addition to needing to do it, you know, it's like she needs time too with me and not alone with him, you know. But anyway, so it didn't really happen. It kind of happened. I did some work this morning at the farm. I made some local deliveries. Like I hooked some neighbors up with some soil and shit, right? Stuff that's been on the back burner for weeks. And then I is that Stefan Diggs?
I don't know. We don't get many people from Twitch, so it's great to see somebody. I'm just throwing it up there.
That would be badass because go Bills. So it could be his brother. He has a brother that's a defensive back for the Cowboys. You know,
we'll say hello.
Not a big Cowboys fan over here. I'm a Bills fan. What do you want from me? So good to see you though. It's interesting. So yeah, I'm just trying to do this thing. I'm trying to work towards this thing with him, right? And it's tough. It's a lot. And I'm just trying to do it. I'm just trying to man up and do it. And I have a lot of theories that have developed because of this, because it's just kind of like, yep, this is what it means to be a dad and be a man. You just have to fucking shut up and do the work, you know? And
yeah, I know. I do.
Right? And that's what you got to do. And like, you got to sacrifice the stuff for the good of it. And because I'm also thinking, it's funny because Spirko started talking about 7 generational thinking about a month after I started thinking about doing that, but I didn't put the name on it that he did, right? I was like, we need a family plot. My family squandered land for generations. We need a family plot somewhere. I need to start setting this up so that generations from now that I won't know will have this, and I need to set it up legally so they can't fucking ruin it. And that's what I want, you know, like that's the goal. And my comfort and my time off and like to do other shit is irrelevant. Like none of that matters to me. You know, I just need to do this mission, you know? So
I get you.
It's a little bleak, I guess.
No, it's a struggle because Haas asked if you can hire help yet.
I do not have one employee.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
This is what okay.
So it's very hard to hire people on the books, obviously.
Yes.
I have one intern.
Sure.
So, but
unpaid intern, yes.
Yeah, what I did was I hired or I have and verbiage, like anybody's gonna watch this. That's not what I meant. Like anybody like that is gonna bust my ass. Anybody who's gonna bust me is not gonna watch this, right?
I know.
So
my Fed gave up an hour and a half ago. So
yeah, right. He's like, Jesus, this guy won't shut up. So I have someone.
Yeah,
this is a recent development. I also have a fucking excellent babysitter, but she's not very often available. So, because she has a prior obligation for that. Yeah. My neighbor's nanny. She's fucking awesome. Oh. So, she like teaches at a daycare type thing. She's a nanny. She's like, this is her life kind of thing. And so when I have her in to babysit like once a month, and I go, I need to know where he's at because I don't know other kids, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to know where he is measuring stick wise. If he's behind, tell me he's behind. If he's way ahead, tell me he's way ahead. I just want to know where we're at, you know? And she never really gives me a good answer though. I think she thinks, because people are like, you're not supposed to compare your kid to other kids. I'm like, fuck you. I'm going to compare all day. Because I want to know. Yeah, I just want to know where we're at. That's all. But anyway, Yeah, we have a person that I help that is here to help my wife because my wife does work 2 days a week harvesting, at least sometimes 3, because we have to have that. There's no fucking way I could do that too. So she comes here and she handles all of our order coordination. My wife, texting all the chefs, putting the orders together, the board, and then harvesting, making sure the right stuff gets harvested, washing, drying, packaging, getting the orders ready, generating invoices. It sounds like I don't do a fucking thing when I do that. So I just drive around. Yeah, right. But she does that, and she needed help because it's kind of crazy. We got this girl in to help her, and she after like 3 weeks, she goes, "Did you used to just do this alone, or was there somebody else too?" And she's like, "Oh no, I just did it alone." And the girl's like, "That's fucking crazy." So if you want to establish respect from your whatever intern, employee, whatever, right, do that. Be like, "Oh yeah, I used to work some impossible task," and then have them go, "Oh my god, you used to do this," you know. So I need another though, like another, but I don't think the money's there because we like just big $1,000 expenses after another just keep coming at you, you know.
I know.
We had to buy another fridge. I just built 2 new grow racks. That's like $6,000, you know. Ooh. Like it's like math. We've leased another room, so we have another room adjacent, like the other side of the wall behind the monitor I'm looking at. There's another room over there we leased. I moved all my planting and germination over there, and I have all my growing on this side, and this is the packaging room and my like little desk. That's another fucking $1,000 a month with electricity, you know. And then my electric bill is $1,300 over here.
Of course, it is.
Like just fucking one hit after another, right? So and then the transmission in the van went a year ago. You know, just everybody that's listening that runs a business knows how this is. You know, I'm not special in that department, but it's like then hire someone else. Like I don't know, man. I don't think there's money there because I'm not paying me like all the time.
It sucks. So I hired a guy, an awesome kid. I call him a kid. He's fucking 28, but you know, his name, Nick. He's a great guy. So it's the first time that I've actually had somebody that I was paying to look after shit while I was away. It was always before like, you know, hey, you know, brother-in-law, can you watch things in case I get a call? Or, hey, son, can you know, and it sucks because you hate to lean on people that way, and you can never leave and fucking think you can actually relax, you know? Well, this guy just fucking knocked it out of the park, man. He did everything for me and went above and beyond, and it was incredible. But it's taken me a long time to even think about doing that, you know?
Yeah. It's scary too, because they can fuck something up.
Oh yeah,
it could be big. In your world, it could be big.
Well,
like it could be like big damagey type thing, right?
I met with 2 guys the other night to sell All Seasons Maintenance, my handyman side of the business.
Wow,
it's fucking weird how it's happened, you know. Wow. But since what are we right now? We're into May, right? So say 2 weeks before I went to Nicole's until now, it's a blur. I have had not 1 minute to do. Like I feel like even my content has suffered a little bit because it's just been everything, right? It's getting ready for events. We came, and this is all, I mean, we all want fucking success. So this is what we do, you know, but we bought a couple of rentals, and before we left to go to Nicole's, this one that was just barely started being renovated was rented for June 1st.
Oh yeah. I remember you saying that.
So I'm back every single day. I have been over there trying to get this all put together. It'll be done, but it just feels like nothing else. You know, I know it's, what is it? The urgent versus the important, you know? I know I've like my review videos, my content, I know where I've brought them up to this level. And now I feel like I can't do that level while I'm doing all this shit. And I just can't wait to get this is going to sound, I can't wait to go to this event that I'm going to, and I'm going to put my all into it, but I can't fucking wait to get back so I can start doing shit again, you know?
Yep. I understand that.
Oh,
when I go to Jack's every year, it's like, I really enjoy it, but right before it, I'm like, I just need to get this over with so I can move on.
I know.
Because everything is, I think you have to think that far ahead all the time, no matter what, though.
You do.
That's all you're really doing, I think, is like, it's definitely stress. Like anything that's an obligation is stress. It's funny because if you knew me 10 years ago or whatever, when I was a restaurant manager, I had obviously shit that I had to deal with responsibility wise running a restaurant, but that's like small ball compared to anything right now. And on days off and outside of work, I didn't want any obligations, right? I never want, oh no, do you want to make dinner plans with our friends? No, because then I'm gonna have to fucking be there at a certain and it's gonna be my day off, and I'm not gonna want to have to be somewhere on my day off. Now I don't even know what the fuck a day off means. Is that a thing? People do that still? No. So like it's like whatever. Now I tell her like this is our new plan. Mm-hmm. And so like part of the problem that I have is I won't do that. I won't take time off unless there's a plan that I have to meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I will just fucking go. Like you wind me up and see it. You know, like you on December 1st, I could just be work December 2nd because I go home for December 1st for Christmas Eve shit. And then on December 2nd, I'm back. And if there wasn't like tickets to an event or a plan for a day off, I will not take a day off for 365 fucking days. I just will not take a day. I don't know. What do I do with myself? Because back to the diabetes thing, my other problem is this. I've learned how to manage this disease, and it's work or die. Because if I get up and sit on the fucking couch like some people get to do, right, and just watch TV all day, my blood sugar will stay at 180 all day. And I'll feel like totally shit. Oh yeah. Okay. I have to get up and move around.
Sure.
Now I know a lot of people that are like, well, go to the gym on that day. It's like, yeah, fuck you. Never going to a gym. Like, I hate it. I hate physical exertion for no point, you know? So I have to get up and get moving and start working. And then, okay, so in theory I could get up and I could do a thing and then stop. I can't. Like, it's like I'm going to start working and now I'm in that zone. And you know?
Right. So again, this fucking renovation, I don't have, I don't have the ability to do other small shit when I have that on my brain. It's that fucking one, it's all or nothing with this stuff. And it's the weirdest fucking thing. It's either do that or sleep. And it's a weird obsession, but it has to be. I don't know. I don't know how to, well, I guess there's no fixing it. It's just, I think that's the entrepreneurial brain, right? Yeah.
And it only gets more, it only gets more of it. Like, it only becomes more of it. Like the more you do it, because what happens with the entrepreneurial brain is you start seeing more opportunities all the time. And then the more success you might have or whatever, the more you're willing to do that other shit or whatever. You know what I mean? And you just start doing massive amounts of stuff like that. Like right now, this idea of like, let me buy a bunch of tools and build planters and try to build docks and try to build picnic. I didn't need that. I just fucking started. I bet you I can do this like 2 years ago. And this is the year I started doing it. That's all, Well,
that's why I've been cutting out. So I have been dropping all the small stuff from my business for 2 years because I can't keep all the balls in the air. We've got her daycare, which is fucking massively successful. So I do a lot of that. And now we've bought rentals and I'm doing the property management. So I've had to decide. Anyway, we were in Lloyd last week. We went to look at fucking rentals up there. Becky's opening another fucking daycare. We don't need another daycare, but we're opening one an hour away from us.
Yeah.
Because we can.
Yeah. And I mean, if you can do that model and get the help and you're fucking franchising at that point, like there's things I could do, I'm sure, that are easier, but I'm like, it's tough, man. It's tough for me to go. Like I could be like, fuck microgreens, let's figure something else out. But it's like there's so much that we've worked, into it. Yeah, I know. It's going on 8 years. So it's like, man, that's a lot of effort to give it up, whatever. But like we have started kind of honing some stuff. Like I've eliminated, they kind of eliminated themselves, but like branches, my delivery route's fucking madness, right?
Right.
It's like Manchester, New Hampshire, south into Massachusetts. It used to go way out fucking west of Boston to Newton Wellesley area, right? Needham. That's way out, right? And then I'd come back in through Watertown where they found the Tsarnaev brothers supposedly in a boat. And then it's and then it's into Boston, and then it's north along the coast to Newburyport, Mass, and then up to Portsmouth, and then up to Dover, and then back over to the Grove. It's fucking huge. It's like a 300 and something mile circle, right?
Jeez.
and all these little stops in between. So the problem was we ran into is like Dover's way up north, east of me, right? And up near Maine. And Needham is way southwest, right?
Oh, geez.
And it's just one fucking restaurant in each one. Okay. Now, our business model when we weren't that busy used to be, if I get one restaurant in a town, I'm not going to charge any minimums. I'm not going to charge a delivery fee. It's on me to get more customers.
Okay.
It's not their fault that I don't have business in their town, right? And that was a good business model for a long time. Now it's impossible. It's not a thing. So I either have to go minimums or delivery fee, which you can't do delivery fee. That doesn't work in this business. You have to just do minimums, or just tell them we're not going there anymore. So what happened was the Needham restaurant said, "Hey, for the winter, we're gonna, it's slower." And I went, that's fine. And I'm just not reaching back out, And if he does, I'm going to have to tell him it's going to have to be a serious minimum. And I'm only going to one of your two restaurants. And I'm going to one that's closer. So, the Dover restaurant, I should cut off because it's so fucking far out. It's only every other week, but he doesn't get a little bit, but he doesn't get a lot. It's not worth my time, but I like the guy. So I'm going to keep doing it. I have cities I should cut out. I have two cities. I won't name them on here because
I get it.
Someone might watch this.
No, you said nobody watches this.
Someone might watch this. No, so like the wrong person might see this.
Sure.
There's one restaurant in one town that I really need to just drop. It only saves me 20 minutes, but whatever. That's a lot on a fucking 8-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
And then another town that like was one of the first towns we sold in that we're just not doing much in anymore. And I don't see it really expanding back out. And I'm driving there for two restaurants at like $80 total. And it's like, and it's a bitch. It's not that it's on the route, but it's it's just a time constraint thing at this point.
You got to cut that off, dude.
Yeah, that one's got to get cut out.
That's what it sucks because, this is in my business. I built my bread and butter was fucking like cleaning up dog shit or cleaning gutters. But those little, and this is going to sound awful, but when I started, those little $85 jobs were where the money was at. But it's not anymore because it takes up too much time from all the other shit.
Yeah. Well, and you were building it, you knew that $85 job could turn into more. You know? And it's like, and I still believe, don't say no to new opportunities. I know it's tough because you don't know what the new opportunity could turn into, I know. So like if I got a restaurant on board that's in my zone, or I think it could be potential. So for me, it's like develop a relationship with a chef and don't ruin it, right? Because you don't know where that chef's going to go. So it's tough for me to cut an area out because now it's like, well, what if that chef leaves and goes to some fucking giant company like a Google type thing, and they have this cafeteria, and they call me up and they're like, we need 9 pounds of something a week, and just it's coming no matter what. And there's a cut and dry paycheck. I don't want to just say no, like. Or ruin that relationship ahead of time. They find another microgreens guy and they give it to them, So that's what's my big dilemma is like, this is small business right now, like a small amount of business right now at this one place, but you never know when that changes, And if you give up on it, sometimes that fucks you in the long run. That's my problem. Like
I know, and
with your thing, that's a little different because your guy that you clean up dog shit for is not going to buy a chain of fucking banks, probably.
No, and it could have. The possibility was there, but I just had to look at I've for the last 2 years, I've had to do the 80-20 thing where I had to take the 20% of the work that's giving me 80% of the income so that I could build this content creation thing. Because if I hadn't have done that, this wouldn't be what it is today, and it's jumped a lot in the last couple of months. And my goal was to be to a certain dollar amount by December 31st this year. Basically enough that we could pay our bills off it. And I'm going to be fucking close.
Nice. This year, 23.
This year, 2023. Yeah.
Nice. So my goal for my YouTube channel was always just to make one mortgage payment, just in general.
I understand.
I think I actually hit it. I didn't know I hit it. I looked at my stats on the YouTube page and I was like, oh, look at that. I hit a mortgage payment. It only took 6 years or something ridiculous. So, it's, I don't know. Like,
it's weird though, because like this, what we're doing right now is I love this, like, 3 hours of just sitting and talking. Cause it's the only time I ever make time to actually talk to people I care about other than my family. Right.
Yeah.
And I love it and it's fun. And so how do I put this? The return on a podcast is a lot harder to calculate or to realize as opposed to the return on a tool review video, right? I can look at a tool review video and I know exactly what my ad dollars, what my affiliate links, my sales were. Whereas building a podcast, I mean, yes, I know, I build my Patch of the Month Club off that. I have some sponsors off of that, but the rest of it is, okay, I have a podcast, so then I get asked to speak at events. I go to events, I get to sell some of my stuff at the events, but it also builds me, you know what I mean? Like it's a little harder to quantify, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally committed to it, but it's a weird kind of balance, you know?
Yeah. My foray into this was just at one of Jack's events, and Dixie Mills was there.
Yes.
And just talking to her about how she did it and what she does, and talking to her about the money that she makes on it. Not that she's like, I don't want to disclose anything.
No, but she does.
She knows she's not going to beat around the bush about it. She makes a full-time income off that, Yeah. And on all the stuff she does, and she works her ass off.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, if I can just get fucking a small piece of that pie, just as part-time job kind of real part-time job money, coming in. That would be fantastic. I did kind of get there at one point with the YouTube money was whatever. The Amazon money was whatever. The selling the grow trays was the thing. If I could, we're talking I'm talking if I worked as a line cook 1 day a week, right?
Yeah.
So when it was $12 an hour is when my mind was there. So we're talking $400 a month was really what I was looking for,
Yeah.
And which is nothing really, right? That was so easy to get to, that $400 a month, because the Amazon was 50 or 60, the YouTube was 50, 60. So we're we're a third of the way there. I sell 4 cases of flats and I'm fucking golden. And I was doing it. I was selling 4 to 8 cases of this stuff a month, and it was because of the YouTube channel, And it's if I had just kept doing it, I'd probably be in a lot better position, right? But I get to point one spring where I say, I just fucking can't. I get too much I got to do here,
because it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. I know people who have 50,000 subscribers on YouTube who aren't making 25% the money I'm making at it.
Wow.
Because you have to find the things that make you the money, and you got to the hours you put into it. Lately I've been talking about TubeBuddy, and that's an extra couple of hours per video where you go in and you do the deep dive into where you're going to show up in search results, what the title's going to do, what the thumbnail's going to do. This is shit I wish I'd learned 3 years ago.
So it's like an analytics helper kind of
thing.
It
is. It costs a bit of money, but it's worth it. Everything. Yeah. But it's tough, and so I've seen, 10 to 20% growth because of that. And that's at this point, that's a lot, right?
That's great. Yeah.
You just have to, and then I've got the Amazon influencers thing is where it's like affiliates, but my fucking videos go right onto Amazon. I've put 5 videos up there. That's it. If I could get 100 on there, I would it's unreal the money that I can make from there. Those 5 videos make me, let me see, last month, 5 videos make me 20% of all of my Amazon affiliate stuff at this point. And that's, I have 700 videos on YouTube and I have 5 on Amazon. So do the math.
5 evergreen videos or 5 new ones?
5 that's it. On Amazon.
You've already made.
Yeah. So I took 5 videos, cut them down. They're 1-minute videos and they're all on Amazon right now. So when people look at
Amazon's platform.
Yeah. So,
I don't even know what that is.
Okay. So no, it's on it. So, when you go say for instance, so my big one is the generator tent, that little tent thing that goes on your generator.
Yeah.
So if you look up Gen Tent right now on Amazon, you scroll down and you look at, how people can post reviews or you want to see pictures or video of the product.
Mm-hmm.
So those videos that get featured are content creators who have a certain level of whatever, and it automatically puts you in the queue for affiliate sales.
Really?
So yeah. And so it took me a while to get into the program. So then I just throw 5 videos up and I see nothing. I'm like, what the fuck? Why did I waste my time? 2 months later, I get an email from Amazon. We can't pay you because you haven't filled in your
You didn't give it your tax shit or whatever.
Well, I already did, but this
Yeah.
this influencers thing is separate from the affiliates.
Oh, okay.
So I had to just go in and check one box saying yes, my tax information. Now it was only a couple $100, but those 5 videos sat there for 2 months and made me about $250 for nothing. Videos I'm already using everywhere.
Yeah.
So I should have fucking 100 of them on Amazon. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah. No, I know, and I haven't done it yet. Yeah. That's with the planters. There's a whole I need to do it thing. Those slowed right down recently. It's kind of bugging me. I feel like I'm getting kind of fucked on Facebook ads right now. But anyway, maybe not. Maybe people just don't want them. So
maybe it's saturated for right now.
I think it might be that too. And also, mine isn't as nice looking as a lot of the ones that are out there for more money, but they're definitely worth more money. But
people have got their planting done now, though, John.
Not here.
Right?
Not here. We just had a frost 3 nights ago.
Well, I mean, we don't either, but I mean, we go buy the shit already. You know what I mean? Like most people have already kind of bought their planters and kind of had
the nice thing is I'll keep these available all the year round. Why wouldn't I?
Oh, yeah. Whatever. You have them and do them. And
yeah, I make 12 at a time and just whatever. Right now is rain barrels coming up for me. But the business, like the microgreens thing, has been fucking madness. Like we crushed sales record in microgreens only. There's an asterisk next to every time I break a sales record, because one fucking week last year we sold like $1,200 in syrup.
Oh,
because we do resale.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so my total sales number for that 1 week is way high, but it's all based on just selling syrup.
Wedding gifts or something?
So I make like 25% on my syrup. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I'm not bitching about making money, right? But when I look at the record, right, for sales, it's like the microgreen sales that week. So we have 2 delivery days, and I have a spreadsheet where I break down the first delivery day. Yep. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So there's two categories.
Yep.
For the 2 delivery days. So I have my first delivery day, and it breaks it down: eggs, greens, resale. Okay. And then the second one, same thing. And then there's totals. So that week, Monday, or the first set of delivery days and the second delivery day are not even close to any records. Right. So greens are fucking just the greens. Sorry. I know I'm all over the place here. That's the green sales, first delivery day, second delivery day are like low. All right. They're not impressive. The first delivery day, there was no resale and no eggs. The second delivery day, there's no eggs and fucking $1,200 in syrup. So it just skews my week. That was my record sales number. The number, I understand. Right?
Yep.
So I should just say, let me take 25% of that number and call that what it is. You know what I mean? But whatever. Because I can sell a fuckload of syrup and it's only 25% profit on that, or 20, whatever.
Sure.
It's great, but it's not. The microgreens are huge, much bigger profit. So, so then I have weeks. So last week, Mother's Day, it's no surprise, right? That's our way over our sales record for microgreens in a week. But we just keep doing that because the week before was also a record. So it's the week, so 3 weeks ago was a record. Okay. Mother's Day week broke that record by like $400. And then last week would have been a record without the Mother's Day week. It beat the week before Mother's Day. You know what I mean? So
what's causing the increase?
Just more restaurants, and the New England economy is a whole fucking its own animal. It doesn't respond to recessions like the rest of the country, which is part of the reason I live here.
Nova Scotia was the same way.
Yeah, because it's so compacted, and there's so many people, and there's so much old money, and there's whatever. So at least that's my theory. So it's one reason I don't leave. Like people, I don't know how you deal with the taxes. I'm like, I'll tell you why I deal with the taxes, because I can always fucking work. That's why. So,
right.
So we have new big restaurant accounts is what it really is. So my recession plan was to start selling more in Boston, because Boston's going to be relatively, within reason, recession proofed, unless the recession's so fucking bad that everyone's screwed no matter what.
Then you're going to eat your own microgreens.
Yeah. And so you know, like if there's a bad recession, like a couple restaurants that I sell to down there might close, but the majority of them will be okay, you know?
Sure.
And there's a lot of money down there and whatever. So I went into Boston October, about a year and a half ago, really went in. Like I had restaurants down there, but I really went in, right?
Yeah.
We got one restaurant that was like wanted a fucking discount, but I did it because they were big and I needed a big anchor account down there at the time, right? Then I got the rest of his restaurant group. Okay.
Ooh.
Low account, little accounts. So the other two, one
Okay.
big one, two little ones, fine. Then I added another two like moderate accounts in Boston, right? It's all right near each other.
Yeah.
And then so we have a couple big accounts in New Hampshire already. One got busier. The other one, the chef started exclusively buying from us, and I nailed him down on a standing order, which is what needed to happen with him because he kept forgetting to order.
Yep.
That fucking blew up. That's like $400 a week account, right?
Nice.
And I got so a chef got fired from one of the small restaurants in Boston, or quit or something, and opened a new big Italian restaurant in Woburn, Mass. And I got that because of him. And that's $400, $500 a week, right?
Nice.
And the big restaurant in Portsmouth that I was talking about, that I got the guy in the standing order, that restaurant group opened another restaurant right near that other big Italian restaurant. They're a $500 a week account. And that just fell into my lap. Then a couple months ago, I did a marketing call and got positive results basically from this company in Boston called Atlantic Fish Co. It's like a very popular restaurant in Boston, and that's going to be huge. I don't have that yet, but it's not happening yet, but it's going to happen kind of thing. I'm actually reaching out to him tomorrow to be like, hey, we have this we can start you out with kind of thing. But that's why I've had to plant, like my planting has increased like massively, but we're crushing sales. And then like with this new Atlantic Fish Co. is big. It's right on Newbury Street in Boston. It's fucking huge. Right next door is a place called Abe and Louie's, where I got hired as a busboy when I was homeless in New England the first 2 weeks I lived here.
Wow.
And they own that restaurant too. So I'm going to get that probably down the road once we settle in with the first one. And then they have two more. So that could get like scary because those four could be what we were doing in sales total a year ago.
Oh, John, that's awesome.
Else. Yeah. In addition to everything else we're doing now. So like right now we're over $3,000 a week in greens, and like that restaurant group could add $2,000, which is fucking nuts. I don't even know what I'll do with that other than like look more tired than I am right now. So, but yeah, it's a good time, I guess. I don't know. It's madness. It blew up. The plan worked. That was the plan. The plan
That's
was
what you do. Yeah.
The plan was she needs to not have to go back to work, to stay home and be with our son. Right.
Yeah.
Stay home mom. And the microgreens business needs to pay both of our salaries. Okay. And we need to recession proof by doing more sales in Boston. Every single one of those things is working so far. So that's nice. And the barrels need to be like a part-time job income, which they're probably more, but
that's good.
That's a weird flow with that. Like a month ago, like that night I came on your show.
Yep.
Was fucking burn barrels, and like that's a big thing in the fall and spring here, right? Like so it's like I was selling not a crazy amount, but like 3 or 4 a day, right?
Yep.
I make $20 a whack. So okay, I'll take 8. I'll roll out of bed and make $80 every day. That's fine. Right. And now it's rain barrels, which I make about 30 on 30, 40.
Nice.
And I'll sell probably 40 of those in the next few weeks,
Okay.
And then regular, just like dock barrels and all that shit. Big accounts come along. Like I have commercial accounts that do like waste disposal type, like hazmat cleanup type shit, and they need like, hey, we need 20. Okay, cool. I made $400 today, whatever, like great. And that happens a lot in barrel land because it's like I think I made like $30 today, right?
Sure.
Fine. I was kind of taking the day off, so I didn't give a shit. I could wake up tomorrow and get a call and make 600, with barrels, like profit. And like, it's just that shit happens. Last year I had a movie set company.
Wow.
This time of the year, it was some Marvel movie with like a woman that was filmed south of Boston. That's all I know. I'm sure it's out there.
Okay.
They blew up a fucking fireworks factory or something. I hope it's out because I was told not to talk about this. It's got to be out, right? Maybe not. Could be in post. I'm ruining everything now.
Whatever.
Poor Marvel. I feel so bad for them. So it was like a $4,000 sale, like
Yes.
profit. And then they fucking gave them all back, and I sold them again.
Oh my God. That is because to them, it was probably cheaper to just give them back than it was to dispose of them.
They were fucking awesome to work with. These set design people, they were thrilled that I was coming to get them because they called me and they're like, hey, instead of selling them, do you want to do a lease agreement? And I was like, anything changed? And they're like, nope, not. I'm like, money's same. Like, yep, cool. And like at the beginning, I was trying to cut them a deal and they were like, stop it, basically,
Yep.
Stop trying. We're a movie company and we're doing a Marvel movie. Stop trying to cut us a deal.
We're
okay,
good.
no problem. Yeah. So I had to deliver 140 barrels to fucking South Weymouth or something. And it was they can't. Yeah, right. I have another deal every year where I sell 20 barrels to a local restaurant for Cinco de Mayo outdoor patio barricades, and I pick them up 2 days later.
That's and you make your money.
Charge them a delivery fee. And I just sell them to them at full price. Then I go pick them up. And then what I usually do is I make those barrels into rain barrels and sell them for $50 a whack. And I've already made $15 a piece on them. So
that's awesome.
It's fucking $65 times 20. Beautiful, right?
I hope somebody out there is taking notes tonight because there's lots. Yeah.
Just don't compete with me.
Whatever. I always say,
there's actually it's so I've been slower because it is saturated here.
Sure.
There's way more people doing it now. And that's always a thing. With the microgreens, we have an edge, and I can stay way ahead of most people that want to compete with us. Because most people aren't willing to do the fucking work, frankly. They don't want to wash, they don't want to dry, they don't even want to harvest, they just want to grow it and deliver live fucking greens, which is dumb.
Okay.
They die. Like if you're a chef, you might as well just fucking plant them if you're getting live greens, because that's the easy part.
Right.
Like if you're talking about 3 trays, just put a neon light on a fucking shelf in your kitchen and get.
But no chef wants to do that, do they?
It's super easy to do it small scale like that. So if you have some dickhead producer just showing up with live greens, here you go, you cut it and water it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we harvest everything to order, or within 24 hours. Wash everything, dry it, package it, custom packaging, or like custom amounts, and deliver that. No one does it, So nobody can compete with that.
How big of a package is 1 pound of microgreens?
Depends on the green, but like one of those, like Rubbermaid take-alongs. It's like I think that's a gallon one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So 4.4 liters. There you go.
Well, that's a British gallon, isn't it? I think that's a British gallon.
It says 1.1 gallons. 1.1 gallon, like 1 gallon.
Okay.
But that's like a regular green, like radish, peas, sunflower, salads. When you get into herbs, they're more bulky. So that would only hold like 8 ounces of cilantro. So, we sell like 14 pounds of cilantro a week.
Really?
It's the worst. It's the worst one to grow.
Why is it just finicky?
Yeah. It's hard to get it to grow. It's hard to get it to germinate without rotting. And fucking A. Like there's weeks where I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking quit. I needed 60 trays and 28 went wrong, that kind of thing. And I was up till 5:30 in the morning planting them,
Dear God.
Yeah. When that happens, you're just like, I fucking quit.
Yeah.
It'd be like if you went and painted a house. I don't think you do that, but let's pretend.
Yeah.
You probably painted.
Oh yeah, I paint a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say you went. No, let's do. What do? You wash.
I can
windows?
tell you what it's like.
Do you wash windows?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you had a big building that you had to wash windows on, and there were 80 windows, and they were high, and you had to get up on the fucking thing, right? And then did it, and you billed the customer, and they called you the next day, or they called you like 4 days later when you were really busy with other shit, and told you cleaned the windows in the wrong fucking building. It was their competitor.
Sure.
It's that. It's like, oh my God. That's what it is.
I had to paint a bathroom in an old house here in town, and the guy said, it's got wallpaper. Go ahead and paint over the wallpaper. Now, It's not ideal, but I have done that many times in the past, and I've done really well with it. I use bin and stick it, and it goes on. And anyway, no problem. So I went in, I primed the whole thing. It looked okay, not bad. I did a second coat. The next day I go back. The wallpaper, I've never seen this. I took video of it. So it had flower patterns in the wallpaper. Wherever the flowers were, the paint cracked. So I get looking into it. They think it was lead in the coloring of the flowers, because it's the only thing that the paint wouldn't stick to.
Oh yeah, right. Like, yeah.
So I had to tear everything off and start over. But yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like you painted a house and it was the wrong color.
Yeah.
You have to do it again or something. Like that's what it's like to grow cilantro and have it fucking rot. Oh, like it's the worst. So we leased the other side.
Yep.
I moved planting over there, and that seems to have fixed a lot of the problems.
Ooh.
Thank God. I had a hunch that would happen because I felt like there was just the conditions weren't quite right over here, kind of thing, with everything else that goes on in this room, and full grown stuff. And sometimes there's a little surface mold or something, whatever is going to happen. And so I have a hunch that type of shit was affecting certain crops at planting, right? So then you cover it up, and it really doesn't have much oxygen, and it's wet, and whatever that is was just destroying fucking trays, So I moved it all over to the new room where there's none of that going on, and it seems to have instantly fixed the problem, which means I can plant less and get more.
Sure.
So like without that, I might not be sitting here talking to you about microgreens, honestly, because like it was like 6 weeks ago. I just I had 40 trays coming out of germination, and 32 of them or something were total loss.
Oh.
And I'm like, and I have new accounts that want cilantro only, at the time, that one big restaurant that I got.
Of course.
And it's like, you can't get a new account and then tell them you don't have it. You know what I mean? Like 2 months in, because they're just going to fire you and go back to the fucking produce company. You're too much of a hassle,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So,
because you're not the guy.
Yeah. And like, it was fucking getting freaky. And I just looked at Jenny and I was like, if we can't grow cilantro, we can't stay in business, because that's where most of our money is, And I was like, we just have to go out of business or something and do something else. Like, I don't know. And then just fucking magic, it started growing in the other room. And I was like, look at that. Oh my God. Like, I was pulling cilantro out of germination over here some days, and she was here, and I would have to I'd go, I'm going to take cilantro out of germination. You need to go home.
Because you were going to get ugly.
Rage.
Yeah.
Fucking pure rage. So like, there was a day where I pulled cilantro and she was here, and I just fucking snapped. And I was like, I just want one fucking tray to not have rot on it. Like, it was every single tray, week after week. There would be some rot somewhere on the tray. Even if I had a good tray, there'd be a chunk the size of a baseball I had to pull out.
Yeah.
And frustrating. I just want one. And then like 3, 4, or 5 weeks ago, whenever we moved to the other room and started playing on it, it's all a fucking blur. I had a whole round. A round is 8 trays because I plant in groups of 8.
Okay.
Because my flood tables hold 8. So I fucking called her and I go, okay, I know you're not going to believe me, but I'm standing here at the grow room and I'm looking at 8 trays of cilantro, and there isn't one spot on any one of them. I have an entire 8 trays that are perfect out of germination from the new room. Like, and it was right when we first started going over there. And it was just that moment. You're just like, fuck, and thank God. Like, I just, wow. Like, it was super stressful. Like, that whole stretch was wicked stressful. And because it's like, I don't have time anyway, and then it's like, okay, nope, you're going to have to do more. Somehow you're going to have to fucking do more. Right. So, yeah. All right, man. We hit 3 hours. I have to go plant cilantro.
No, it's good. There's still 5 people in here.
I was looking I pulled up the other screen, and I'm like, it was down to 2 at one point. And I was like, oh, can we outlast everybody?
You can't. So on YouTube, you can't always see everybody. I can also see the numbers from Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. But yeah, okay. We got 5. I appreciate you guys. I don't know if I'll probably split this into 2 episodes.
There you go.
This is fucking gold. It's 3 hours of talk radio.
So your hook is I tell the brick joke the first half.
Oh,
and then you fucking cut it right after your joke.
I think I will. That would be awesome.
Come in or something like right around there.
I was going to close with a fucking story about the brick. You just ruined my no. That's
Did
awesome.
I cut it out? Cut it
No,
out.
I'm just kidding. It was awesome. So yeah.
So
no,
now on that joke to piggyback, so I have a good friend Duncan who I heard that joke from him 30 years ago. We were line cooks together, and we like kind of compete and who can tell that joke better, and I'm notorious for fucking up the end. Right,
you did good.
So like at the end sometimes I'll go, oh, the dog was sitting on the wing of the plane with the brick in its mouth, and it's like, oh, I fucked it up, I fucked up the hook, the suspense, whatever. So anyway, so we go back and forth. Now though, this is the fun part for me. This is so stupid. Every time I'm on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist and I see a listing for free bricks, I fucking copy and paste the link and send it to them in like public forums that we're in for memes. Like people are like, why do you keep sending 20, 30 people? Why are you sending posts for free bricks in Manchester, New Hampshire? I'm like, because Duncan wants fucking free bricks for his fireplace. That's why, like, all the time. And it's just stupid inside joke, but it's like, it's fun because it's never ending. Like,
I appreciate it.
I tipped like 2 days ago, sent him a free pallet of bricks. Here you go, dude. Like, here's your ad, free pallet of bricks. Go get it. He lives in fucking Montana now, though.
He'd love it.
But,
so if people want to, how do they follow up with you? You got to get some sort of shameless promotion in here at some point.
I don't know. I never know what to promote on these because everything I do is local.
I know.
There was a guy in your group who is local here, but if he wants something, we'll work it out.
Yeah.
I think he was the guy. He was going to build maple sap evaporators, maybe. I think that was him.
Oh, okay.
And I have barrels for that. And I'm like, ooh, I'm getting freebie barrels I can hook you up with, and then we could sell the evaporators. That's where the money would be. But yeah, I mean, I have my website. If you want to buy microgreens flats, you can buy them there. You have to buy 100 though. So if you're not going to be like real hardcore into it, I do have another website, Microgreen School.
Right.
I don't remember if there's 2 S's or not. I started this project 3 years ago. I was migrating all my shit over there because it's not Wix. I have Wix for my Dowie Farm website, and it sucks. And I was trying to move all my shit for selling because I don't just sell microgreens trays. Technically, I can sell pots, like cases of fucking 1,200 4-inch pots, that kind of stuff. If you're starting a lot of seeds, and shuttle pots and the trays they go in and all that, I have all that available. It's all drop shipped, so I just have a decent connection for good pricing. And I have a YouTube channel. It's Dowie Farm, youtube.com/C/Dowie Farm.
The weird thing.
That's how that works. Yeah. And we have a lot of instruction over there, I feel like. And yeah. And that's it. I don't know. I'm not really trying to sell anything.
That's fine. Maybe we should try once a month. Maybe we could do once a month.
I can try. It probably can't be 3 hours.
No, I know.
But it will be.
I know. That's the problem, because last fucking time you come on, we talk for a half hour before the show starts. We do an hour and a half show, and then we fucking talk for 2 hours after the show.
After we got off, and I was like,
I know.
Dude, I got to go do work. Like, it's like tonight. It's midnight.
I know. You need to go. We'll end the show
4
here
hours of planting
because I don't want you to go into a diabetic coma, and then I have to deal with your widow tomorrow. I don't want that. So, well, thanks, Mr. Dowie. We will do it again, and it won't be a year and a half until we do it again. So,
yeah, that was fun. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Well, guys, let's end it here. Stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.